And we're live with Twofold from Salty Salty Studios, finally released this year on October 27th. Really, when we need a break from things wonderfully spooky and mysterious, we just want a bit of wholesome drama, introspective slice of life, almost. This is Twofold. A game about love, family, and connection. If you listen to the trailer of this game, it's a very poignant line where mentions that wherever you are in life, if you can make a friend, it'll all come together. A Studio Elan game? It is! Hello, Lilac. Hello, Genie. This is, in fact, Twofold. It is also fully voice acted, so be very good on my vocal cords. Can you hear me okay, first and foremost?
College will open new paths for you, is what my mom had always said. I took those words to heart, despite my usual cynicism. Even as my high school friends drifted away from me over the years, and the stresses of moving out and living a lone mountain, I continued to believe in them. Then came today.
Good. Everything sound all right so far? This is calling memories to mind. It was, I'm gonna say, it literally was just released the 27th of October.
The meeting with the advisor was never going to go well. Academic probation isn't a term thrown around in good circumstances. Even with all that, a 1.2 GPA was a surprise. 5 whole credits.
Ooh.
After cruising through school before college, it feels like a bad joke when I repeat his coldly delivered words in my head. My heart sinking, I finally closed the door behind me.
1.2.
Chapter of my life closes with it.
I feel like college is either a cruel wake-up call. I feel like college can be a cruel wake-up call in a variety of different ways. Either in the change in coursework, the widening of adult responsibility, new and difficult pressures. Walking by the bike propped up against a wall, I shiver from the chill fall running through my apartment. The practically non-existent insulation does little to keep the cold out, nor the noise. Without a roommate to share the space with, there's little to hear but the occasional passing traffic. I hardly mind. The solitude is more comfortable anyways. Unfortunately for me, that same silence makes me focus all the more on my failure. Upon reaching the room, I simply stop. It's not like this should be out of left field. I'd stopped checking my grades on the school website, knowing full well that the hours eaten up by work would take their toll. Between working late and studying early, it's all I could do to not fall asleep during lectures. Denial. That's all it was. Now it's caught up to me and I have no real way out. What can I do now? For all I've tried to avoid burdening my mom, neither of us could possibly afford another semester or so of college if I failed out. I shuffle to the kitchen counter and grab a glass of water to calm my nerves. With little else available to distract myself from what I should be doing, I step over to the fern on the sill and slowly drizzle the pebbles around it with water. I'm surprised it's still alive after all this time, having bought it when I moved here. Managed to take care of a plant feels like a bad consolation prize given everything else I've messed up. All I can do is sigh and appreciate the chance to wind down a little by caring for the thing. With the soil darkened and leaves shining for the droplets of water, I put down the glass and fall back on the couch. Might as well get this over with. I fish the phone from my pocket and navigate to my mom in the contacts list. Then, I press the call button. I don't think wake-up call is quite the right term. It's... I mean... If not wake-up call, then, like, come to Jesus moment. The point where you could no longer escape from the truth which is hanging over your head. Anxious seconds go by as it rings before she finally picks up.
Hello?
Mom!
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Olive. How's it going?
I just got back from talking to my advisor.
Especially when you're in what looks like a no-win situation. Yeah.
What did he say?
Her cheery tone drops a little. You must have heard the defeat in my own voice.
It's... I have a 1.2 GPA. Only 5 credits.
Oof. I feel like I'm deflating as I sink further into my couch. I thought I'd be scared or frustrated at how bad this is. But that's worn off and become a dull emptiness.
Oh, honey.
The last tone of voice I wanted to hear was that sweet, concerned voice. It'd be so much easier if she just yelled at me, a sentiment I've thought more than just once.
It's okay. This doesn't mean the end. I know someone as smart as my Ollie can find a way.
If I pulled off a decent GPA and passed all my classes and managed full credits for them, I'd still end up short. He did try to give me some options, but...
You can't wake up. It's not really your own choices that brought you here, but it's just a consistent downward spiral that you can't escape from.
See, there you go.
Options!
I don't know if they'll do any good, Mom. It's an intro art class and a creative writing class. He even said they're basically filler.
It sounds like it's something you should try, don't you think? You could easily tackle either of those.
I've never been good at that kind of stuff. You know that.
You can only give your best shot. I think that's more than enough. You've been through harder trials in your life, and you've overcome those, and you're so much stronger for it. What this means is that there's hope.
When there's life, there's hope. Hope. I really wish I could believe her on that one. This is one hell of a long shot. I did fine in topics like science and math back in high school, but I've never had an inkling of creativity. The art scene is also the last place I'd want to be anywhere near. Passing one of those 2 courses should give me barely enough credits to pass. Barely understates things. Then again, a pass is a pass. And skipping a semester isn't an option financially. Mom would doubtlessly do her best to help cover the costs, a fact that puts a knot in my stomach. All this is just trying to rationalize away one simple fact. She's right.
I'll do my best. Sorry for putting you through this.
Honey, you don't need to apologize. I know there's a lot going on. I know you're doing what you can. You always have me on your side. Your advisor wants you to succeed too. That's why he gave you this option. I know you can do this. I'll see you at work in a couple of days. We can talk about this more there, okay? I know it's easier said than done, but try not to stress yourself out too much about all this. Maybe you can make yourself something to take your mind off things. It's nearly dinner time after all, so make something nice for yourself.
Yeah, you gotta keep yourself taken care of. It's a better solution than drowning my worries in some greasy fast food, as much as I'd love to take the easy way out of any additional responsibilities tonight.
Alright. I'll try. See you.
Bye, Olive. I love you. Just remember that tomorrow's another day.
Love you too.
With that, the line goes dead. The big moment is over. I rest the phone on the coffee table before me. Starting tomorrow, I have all of 1 week to decide on one of 2 classes. A class that'll decide whether I get a college education or stay stuck in this rut for probably the rest of my life. All I have to do is pass an art or English class to do it. As the silence of the apartment starts gnawing at the back of my mind, I decide to get up and start preparing that dinner to distract myself. Ooh! Buy a thread. There's our lovely little title cards there. The next day. I love the sketch to almost watercolor effect. Today marks the beginning of the experiment. The drop period for classes ends next week, and so, as my advisor's suggestion, I've signed up for both the art and English lessons. The plan is to sit in on both, decide which is best for me, and drop the other. I only need one to survive, and I'd rather not stuff my already full schedule any more than I have to. So here I am, sitting in art class. I've gone back and forth on this all day, oscillating between, I don't have an ounce of creativity, there's no way I could do this, and it's just drawing, right? Could it be so hard?
And from there, we will cover the Futurist movement, which after its founding in 1909...
I think I've settled on there's no way for now. Try as I might to take proper notes, I have no idea what I'm writing down. Psst. Oh? Movement in the corner of my a movement in the corner of my eye, and a small chirpy voice beside me aren't helping.
Hey, hey.
Here's one of them. The thing in my peripheral vision is shoved further into view. Glancing over shows it to be an open notebook, which I try to tune out. Ooh. Notebook slides back and forth in response, tapping on my own book as I try to write. Grimacing only spurs them on. Now, sure that they have my attention. What do they want from me? I lightly slap my hand down on the paper, stopping their movements. Far from being discouraged, the culprit beams back at me as I glance over. Oh. Cast against the window beyond her, the girl smiles cheerfully. The two of us couldn't look more different as I stare wearily at her, the sun behind her paling in comparison to her own bright nature. Reminds me of Katawa Shoujo a lot. I definitely feel that vibe. She gives me a thumbs up of encouragement and earning a bemused, furrowed brow. Might as well humor her at this point. Alright. Ooh. I raise my tired eyes back to the author, only for her to resume her thumbs up pose. Is she genuinely interested in helping or just making fun of me? Oh, yo. Hey, you look pretty lost. Are you doing okay? You need some help? Just trying to focus. Would it be too rude to add that she's only making it harder? I decide against it and slide it back. Yeah, I know it's hard. This guy teaches it so boring. But listen! I know all about this stuff. I can help you if you want. I look at my syllabus on my desk in front of me, full of names and terms and concepts I know nothing about. This class isn't just drawing at all. It covers everything from art history to social movements. My heart sinks at the sheer breadth of knowledge that will be needed. Oh dear, that is a lot. The professor's droning lecture is soon lost on me as my attention wanders to her notebook. Though she's dedicated the full page to this conversation, I can make out various notes about art, leading through the back of the page, even if the handwriting is hard to decipher. My eyes drifting further. I notice another book sitting on her desk. An open sketchbook this time. Its pages covered with drawings of this and that. That's in addition to the doodles and the notes she's been passing me. Okay, sure. This class must be perfect for someone like her.
Yes!
Upon reading my note, she suddenly shouts aloud in excitement. All I can do is freeze as the attention of the entire class, including the professor, is instantly drawn to her.
Yes. Caprice. Is there something you need?
Uh-oh. Busted. His pronounced sigh makes it all too obvious that he knows this particular student all too well.
just excited and ready to learn. Is there something you need?
I need you to stay quiet while I'm talking. That's okay with you.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
She gives an exaggerated salute, which seems to satisfy him. There are a few quiet giggles around the class, not that she seems to care. She turns around and sees me watching, which prompts her to give yet another thumbs up. After a moment's scribbling, to give yet another note in the corner of her page. Let's talk after class. I know just how to help you. I'm Caprice, by the way. No, there I am. There's Caprice. She signs the note, though I've already caught her name from the professor saying it. I figure I might as well reply one last time. Thanks, I'm Olive. I have no idea the kind of person I've just agreed to talk to. Is she normally the type to pass notes and shout out during class? The last time I remember communicating like this is elementary school. The rest of the class goes by uneventfully, for better or worse. I try my best to take notes and follow along, but by the end, the professor's ramblings and tangents end up overwhelming me. God, I know that exact feeling.
Olive!
Oh. Before I could even leave the classroom, I'm accosted by my new acquaintance. I had planned on waiting for her outside the door.
Olive, right? Olive!
Busted.
That's right.
I'm Caprice. Nice to finally talk.
She extends a hand, which I take. Her shake is surprisingly firm and fast, my arm being yanked around by the slight figure before me. Strong.
Yeah, so...
So, listen. I'm the president of the art club here on campus.
Oh.
Well, not the art club, but one of the art clubs. The better one. Forget about that other one.
Yes, a quirky, free-spirited artist. The better one. Ah, yes. Not the other one.
In fact, forget I mentioned it. There's only one art club, and it's mine.
There's only one art club on this campus. Oh, no.
And, you see, we're looking for members. Any level of skill will do. The best way to learn art is to work alongside your peers.
She's right.
Hey.
So if you're looking for help, there's really no better way than to join our art club. We're all pretty much good artists who can definitely teach you anything you need to know.
Does she want to enlist members for a club? That's a safe bet.
I can even offer you personal lessons. That's a generous offer from the club president, you know.
I'm gonna say I know a bit about the synopsis here, and the core choice is gonna be which. Obviously, it's set up to be which class we end up taking. But to go along with that, is the decision of which club we want to join. I have to stop this. I'm not looking for a club or anything like this.
Thank you. But I think I'll pass.
Oh no.
Oh no. She retreats a step back, hands clasped together.
I came on too strong. I'm sorry. Don't worry about all that stuff I said.
Which stuff?
I do think we could help you, though.
I appreciate the offer, really. But I just don't think...
I'm not asking you to join. Just maybe come by sometime. Oh, I know.
Oh.
I'll set up a club meeting for you to scope out. I'll let the others know to expect you once we can decide on a date. No strings attached. I think you'd fit right in.
Honestly, we probably would. I can already tell she won't relent until I give in. I sigh. She's not gonna let me go until I offer some kind of compromise.
Okay, sure. I'll give it some thought.
Awesome! Trust me, it'll be great.
I trust you already.
Anyway, I gotta go. See you around, Olive.
I love your hat. It's so cute. She pats me on the shoulder and runs out, leaving me in her dust. If I don't go, she'll definitely confront me about it next class. I'm not looking for a club to join, though, and I'd rather not deal with someone so high energy. Maybe just sitting in won't hurt. I'll worry about this later. I've got places to get to as well. The next day. Oh? The afternoon shift at the diner has proven to be a slow one, much to my relief. With Mom off for the day and the rest of the staff otherwise unavailable, I find myself idly flipping through my art textbook at an empty booth. The contents are overwhelming compared to what I expected from a class like this, and I have to constantly remind myself that courses like this typically rely on participation and effort more than anything. She does indeed move pretty fast, get uneasy when strangers are this friendly so soon after meeting me. Yeah, I don't say it's... I suppose in my case it's less... definitely uneasy, not in the suspicious sense, and more of the, overwhelming social battery. Quickly drains my social battery. It's the sort of social presence that will quickly tire me out. Still hard to not stress out about it as my eyes glaze over foreign terms and information, though. Oh. Oh, hello. The small chime of the bell puts me out of my trance as a customer sneaks through the door without me noticing. I bounce to my feet to greet her, trying my best to hide how off guard I feel.
Hey, welcome to the Bell House. Party at 1?
I go to retrieve a menu from the woman as she turns to meet me.
3, actually. My roommates should be in shortly. They're just wrapping up a conversation out in the car.
Got it. Booth it is then. Right this way.
I take a few steps further into the diner, ready to lead her to a spot near the back. I only make it a couple of feet before a voice interrupts my train of thought.
Hey Millie, catch!
Oh! She turns back around toward the entrance of the diner, handily catching a small keyring sent flying toward her. Takes a moment to get my eyes on the picture. A woman in orange, and yellow seems to be the culprit. And behind her... Oh! Oh no! Oh! Oh no. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with strangers being like that per se. It's just skittish. And it's alright to be skittish. It's alright. As it's, It's alright for strangers to come off that way. And it's alright for that personality type to be not for you. There's no other way to rationalize this other than some sort of divine level prank as the leader of the art club from yesterday's the last to enter the tiny space. Much to my despair, she seems to recognize me as quickly as I recognize her.
Ah, it's you!
It's me.
It's me!
I feel like I'm missing something.
Oh, right. Haley, Millie, meet the newest art club member. Olive, I'm pretty sure their name was.
Pleased to meet you, Olive.
Her smile looks sincere, which makes the short pause beforehand even more concerning.
She got you roped into this without even having your name down yet?
Oh no.
She got it right on her first go, at least. I'm not in the club yet, though. Just testing the waters.
It's only a matter of time.
Oh no.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, food. Wanting nothing more to be done with this interaction, I spin myself around and start making my way to the back of the diner, beckoning them to follow. I'm banishing you to the corner, where I don't have to think about your presence. It's hard not to notice Millie glance at the textbook I had left out as the trio passed by. Bump. The three shuffle in, Caprice and Millie on opposite sides, Haley opting to follow in after Millie. After I pass them their menus and pretend to look busy by wiping down a nearby table, the three make idle chatter as they talk about our offerings. Ooh. I like to say that I wasn't eavesdropping, but the truth is simply that they don't end up saying anything interesting. It's not long before they settle in on their orders. Loaded fries for Caprice, a chicken sandwich for Millie, and a breakfast platter for Haley. The latter is a bit annoying to prep at this hour, but it's nothing I'm not used to at this point. Ah. One-person operation with everyone else out. I carefully sit each plate in front of its intended recipient. The fries give me a bit of a scare with a near spill, but Caprice helps save the dish in the nick of time.
Enjoy. Just speak up if you need anything else.
It smells great. Thank you.
With a small wave, I leave them to their meals, taking my seat back at my textbook a couple booths over. Oh. My eyes continue to glaze over the writing and images. Oh, goodness gracious. This is indeed a lot. The entire book is nothing but a jumbled mess to me. Its more logical approach to the arts contradicting the hands-on approach of the class. To leave the strain from my eyes, I occasionally glance up at the diner's current guests. Millie's quick to steal a fry or two, with Caprice matching her roommate's thieving by taking a forkful of hash browns from Haley's plate. The laughter and back and forth you'd expect from stuff like this is more subdued than you'd expect. They seem to be enjoying themselves. That smirk. And then Haley spots me. I try to avert my eyes back down to my book to feign ignorance, but it's a little too late.
Hey, whatever your name was.
Olive. Hi.
Sure, let's go with that.
What does that mean? With Billy glancing over Caprice's shoulder and Caprice's head spun around, it looks like I'm not getting out of this. With resigned sigh, I stand up and approach their booth once again.
Don't suppose this is just you asking for a refill?
Please? Haley seems to consider it for a moment, gazing down at her half-empty cup before deciding against it.
Maybe in a bit. Just figured you wanted to chat with you staring longingly at us like that.
Kicks in door. Hello, Riv. It is time for dinner. Have some loaded fries. Caprice and Millie share a glance. Confused noises? Internally, I cringe. Thanks for wording it precisely like that, Haley. I've known you for approximately 5 minutes and I already feel like hiding away forever. Mood, Olive.
Sorry, that textbook was giving me a headache and there's not much else to look at in here.
Studying at work is impressive, though. You must really be invested in the art class already, huh?
No, I'm just thinking that if I stare at the art book enough, the words might eventually start making sense and I'll start decoding the archaic text within.
Not at all, sorry to say.
You'll pout.
I've actually got another class tomorrow as a backup plan, in case the art one doesn't work out.
Accept those loaded fries gracefully. Excellent.
Oh, really? What kind of class, if you don't mind me asking?
All of here, they are taking a... they are testing the waters with a art class and a creative writing class to get in enough credits to advance.
Huh?
To get a degree.
Just intro to creative writing. Some small filler thing.
What?
Uh-oh. Caprice slams both her hands on the table in shock, her head quickly turning between Millie and I. Her reaction combined with a sudden grin for Millie has me an indescribable level of terrified.
Well, today's just full of coincidences. I happen to be the leader of the writing club on campus. We have our first meeting of the semester tomorrow afternoon if you're interested.
And we have our 2 club leaders, Caprice and Millie. She retrieves her wallet, pulls out a small business card, and scribbles a room number and time on the back before passing it over to me. You would be correct, Lilac.
If the art club doesn't work out for you, I'd be more than happy to help however I can with your writing course.
Wait. Olive, the writing class is going to be a real challenge. If we're thinking of the same one, Millie took it last semester, and I swear I saw her writing 8-page papers every other week.
Oh no. I had already been nervous about how tomorrow was going to go, and that definitely doesn't help matters.
You're exaggerating. Besides, that textbook Olive was poring over didn't look like much of a pleasant experience either.
I can't argue that point.
I can! I've had the same professor in another class. We'll hardly ever use the book. Either way, a little bit of studying and some doodling is a heck of a lot easier than what you went through.
Uh-oh.
Says the woman spending days at a time stressing about inspiration and color composition.
I like the sass in that smile, Millie. I like the implicit sass in that smile. And that pout. Caprice glares daggers into what I had assumed to be her friend. A far cry from her smile yesterday. Billy pretends not to notice, going back to her sandwich after I tuck the card away in my back pocket. So hi, Haley. I turned to Haley, looking for some kind of explanation. I met with a raised glass, the half-melted ice clanking against it as she shakes it around. Waiter! Another!
Lemon lime. Thanks.
Coming right up.
I have a feeling Haley knows precisely what she's doing here. The next day, creative writing class. I know personally which I would take in this situation. The writing class ran longer than I would have liked. The professor definitely belongs in that course with a clear love of language and words. A lot of words. The syllabus didn't enter our hands until 10 minutes after the estimated end of class, and the rigorous requirements listed on it didn't make me feel any better. Given Millie's experience in the class, I want to go into the club today feeling optimistic, but in truth, neither leader has done a spectacular job of selling me so far. Room 26A, 5:15 p.m. Beautiful handwriting, by the way. I mindlessly turn the card over in my hands a few times as I navigate the halls of the building. Caprice's handwriting far more chaotic, but also charming. Would have gone for writing too, since I think I'm better at it, yeah. And plus, even just from a course perspective, I would probably take the writing over the art history, just because I have more confidence in my ability to produce the written word than to produce art of any substance. Yeah. Judging by the advertisement for a car repair shop on the front, it's probably some trash she had yet to throw away before she handed it off to me. The information on the back is a lot more useful to me at the moment. Is that a moose on the wall? I'm on the right floor at this point, at least. Now just a matter of finding the right door. The only thing unusual in this hall is a lanky guy fidgeting nervously outside of one of the rooms. The club room, as it so happens.
Huh? Oh!
Given by the way he jumps back, it seems my presence had gone unnoticed. Ooh, getting a decent look at his face, something feels familiar, but I can't quite place it. His widened eyes seem to imply he's come to a similar sort of conclusion.
Olive? Olive Penn?
Yeah, that's me. And you're...
We shared a few classes back in high school. I don't blame you if you don't remember. I go by Darren now. Darren Baker.
Ah. It's not until he offers a feeble handshake that I realize who I'm talking to. We weren't super close or anything, but having a friend of any kind around after a little over a year of solitude is enough to get a smile out of me. Oh. And same for him, too.
Don't worry. You're looking good.
Hell yeah, dude. You're looking good.
And you're looking the same as ever. Glad to see college hasn't changed you much.
And you're looking good, too, twin. Welcome.
Well, I think I might be overdue for a little change, honestly.
I end my greeting with a small chuckle to play it off, which seemed to satisfy him as he retains his smile. If only he knew the half of it. Much as I'd like to do a bit of catching up and continue avoiding the matter at hand, I'm becoming more and more aware of how late I'm running.
Anyway, are you here for the writing club too?
I glance down at the card to triple-check the details before returning my attention to him. He gives a dejected nod without so much as even glancing at it.
Yeah. That was the plan, at least.
Something up?
It's just more crowded than I was imagining it.
Oh no.
Lots of noise and talking over each other. I poked my head in for a second, and that was enough.
Yeesh. Yeah, I can't blame you.
It's good to hear that it's active, at least. I can definitely sympathize with Darren's situation, and it's a sentiment I'd echo in any other scenario, but sidestepping it is out of the question. I've already committed to checking out Caprice's club, so at this point it's better to get as many options as I can.
Well, wanna check it out together? I haven't been looking forward to it much either, to be honest. But having a friend there would help. No pressure, though.
I fully expect him to turn down the offer, not being shackled to the obligation like me, but instead his face lights up.
No, it's fine. Sounds good to me.
Alright, let's do it. As soon as the door opens, the noise Darren warned me about becomes obvious. The corners of my mouth already felt heavy, but that's only intensified as I discover the source of the squabbling. It is In the back of the room is a small group of people talking amongst themselves, scouring through the counters for supplies. Oh? The lone woman sitting at one of the desks is entirely silent, tapping away on her phone as noise assaults her from both sides of the room. In the front is Caprice, arguing with Millie.
It sure is convenient that you'd pick today to do this.
Oh no.
It has to be today. There's hardly any time left to get all of this sorted.
Oh no.
You couldn't even wait a couple hours?
If you just signed the papers, we'd be out of here in 15 minutes, tops.
The papers? The two continue their back and forth a bit longer before suddenly stopping and swiveling their heads as the door fully opens to reveal myself and Darren. Oh no! The nightmare scenario!
Oh, what a coincidence.
You knew I was coming. You heard Millie offer as much yesterday.
That didn't necessarily mean you'd show up. I thought for sure you wouldn't have bothered.
Millie seems eager to respond, but instead just stands there, silently fuming. The threat of a retort almost scares me more than if she had actually chosen to speak up. Girls are arguing, please wait. Yep. Caprice seems unfazed by her friend's body language and instead turns her attention to the back of the room.
Hey, you guys! This is Olive, the person I was telling you about.
Oh, even worse. Even worse. Now we got called out in front of the entire room. At least the crowd looks charming. The woman glued to her phone doesn't react, but the four in the back turn around to face us. Having just a couple sets of eyes on me is enough to make me want to shrink away into my vest, let alone 6.
Oh, hi. I'm Allison. Nice to meet you. Caprice has told us a bunch about you already.
We have known her for approximately an hour. Tops. A small pause seems to imply that's the end of that interaction, much to my relief. Allison bumps her elbow into the arm of the woman beside her, which unfortunately seems to be enough to keep it going.
Eileen. Yeah, good seeing you. We're a bit busy now, though.
Blondie looks dead inside. Yeah, that seems accurate. We're a bit busy now. Yeah. And she's gone. Understandable. And with that, she turns back around and continues piling miscellaneous colored papers and craft supplies under her arm. With a small sigh, Allison resumes her work as well. A charming crowd, at least. Oh, hello, sir. Confident she's not going to be getting any more out of the two, Caprice focuses her attention to another pair of students. A tall and intimidating man casually leaning on the countertop at a stern-faced woman watching internally as Eileen and Allison pick away at the supplies.
The big guy's Wallace.
She's just unimpressed, yes.
Our newest member, excluding you.
Eileen is not here for any of this drama that's happening right now. She just wants to get out and get back to her stuff.
And the last one?
She's not with us.
Oh? A surprising amount of venom in that response. More than I think Caprice capable.
And thank goodness for that. Name's Tanya. Thanks for asking. I'm with the writing club. Millie told me you'd be coming today. Didn't mention there being 2 of you, though.
Ah.
On that note...
Having had enough of this distraction, Millie makes her way back behind the desk at the front. She pulls out a pen and swiftly jots down her signature before beckoning Caprice over to retrieve the paper from her.
Here's my signature as assurance that I'll finish filling out the form after the meeting if it makes you feel better. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to actually have a meeting today, so I would appreciate it if you hurried up your pillaging.
Caprice opens her mouth, ready to protest, then decides the better of it. She gives the contents of the paper a quick skim. It must satisfy her as she joins her clubmates in the back of the room.
Anyway, come in, you two. I was expecting Olive, but it's nice to see someone else joining us today as well. My name's Millie. Nice to meet you.
Oh, she extends her hand toward Darren, who reluctantly takes it.
Darren. Hi.
With a small shake and a smile, she ushers us to a pair of desks, then makes her way up to the front of the room. She shuffles around in her bag, looking for some sort of reference material.
You've got quite the fan club, huh?
Oh no. The shard of my forehead hitting the desk is louder than any kind of argument Caprice and Millie could have. A sharp clearing of the throat from the front of the room was enough to drag my gaze back up, albeit slowly.
With all of that finally out of the way, it's time to begin the first writing club meeting of the semester. Welcome.
Oh. Charming. Front and center of the room, open book in hand, Millie definitely gives off a natural kind of teacher vibe. Yeah.
This club's one of the oldest in the school, so we have a lot to live up to.
Oh.
Tanya introduced herself already. She's been helping me keep things moving for a while now. The talkative girl is Heather.
You're my best friend! You're my best—
What? Oh, Orange! Orange, thank you for the resub. 2 months. Just in time. Anyways, this is Heather. Giving out her phone for the distractions, Heather finally sets it down and gives a disinterested wave in response to Millie's equally lukewarm introduction of her. Heather is thriving, you see. If only my school had a writing club. Oh, indeed.
So, it's not typically this busy?
Heather smirks, though it's hard for me to gauge why.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry about the bad first impression. Things are typically a lot
Heather's
quieter.
based. You recognize this VA. Is it Millie's, Orange? I'm trying to place. I think it should be easy to reference because... yeah, if we go through the options, we can actually see Millie's VA and Jill Harris. There is one. Yeah, well, give us the quick VA tour here. We have Olive, Caprice, Millie. Jill Harris. I feel like I should recognize that name, but... Haley. We have our art club friends. Allison. Eileen. Kira Buckland. Wallace. We've barely met Wallace, but, I don't know, I kind of dig Tanya so far. I think Tanya's cool in my book. Darren. He is, doing his best. Mean Streak. Oh, goody. And Mom. We love Mom. We have the best mom in this game. Mom of the year. Oh. Oh, we get to meet everyone's family? Alright. We're not gonna go too much farther then. Okay. I don't even need to turn my head to match the look on Caprice's face. I brace for a response, but oddly enough, it never comes. While I'm sure the news is a relief to Darren, I can't help but deflate a little. It's my fault for getting my hopes up, but even I expected more than 3 people. Granted, Caprice's 4 isn't exactly a huge improvement.
Don't let the size fool you, though. What we lack in quantity, we make up for in quality. Here, look at this.
Yeah, that's the only name I 100% recognized, but so far the voice acting has been really good. She approaches Darren and I once again, passing him the book she was holding just moments prior. I lean in to catch a glimpse and am met with chicken scratch. A lot of it. There's more ink than paper, and that trend continues as Darren flips a few pages.
The club can be a great source of inspiration and technical know-how if you'll allow it. I filled up this entire notebook and a couple others just in my first semester here.
Voiced Morgan and Hartha. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And how many pages have you filled out recently?
Oh, the smirk from earlier has yet to fade, and as a matter of fact has only gotten bigger with her new remark. grumble from the back of the room. From Wallace, if I had to guess, based on the tone, follows shortly after.
Plenty, thank you. The club's recent downsizing hasn't had any influence on that.
Recent downside? Even with the rest of her club, all 2 of them, not really winning me over, the work Millie has on display is impressive. At the very least, I feel I could confidently rely on her, which is a plus. Oh, that gaze,
Not enough for stuff, I'll admit that. But there's only so much one person can do.
Well, that smile at the end there looked kind of nervous. Oh, hi. I jump a bit in my seat, throwing my head around to find Caprice standing over mine and Darren's shoulders, eyeing the contents of the notebook herself. Hi.
All I'm saying is that the art club, the entire club, would be able to help you. Unlike the writing club, our little circle looks out for each other.
Don't drag us into this.
Too late for that.
Well, yeah. Mood, Wallace. While, without averting her gaze from the cabinet's innards, Eileen manages to swiftly shut him down.
Bold of you to hype your club up like that, given you didn't even bother to finish the paperwork to legitimize it in time for the fair.
Uh-oh.
I got a set of keys for a room and a bunch of like-minded artists. Being recognized as official would just be a nice bonus.
I'm pretty sure I have a pair of keys that you commandeered for yourself.
Uh-oh.
Hey, whose side are you on here?
Caprice's explosion is met with a small smile from Allison and an even smaller smirk from Eileen. They don't seem to be taking this too seriously, which, honestly, may be a point in their favor.
Thank you for offering to share your space, by the way, Millie. We appreciate it. Even if Caprice won't say so.
Come on, not you two.
Uh-oh.
You're very welcome, Allison.
Millie has a genuine talent for mixing sincerity and an underlying smugness, almost perfect. Thank you for putting that into words, because I am very much loving that so far about her. Oh, hi, Tanya.
Anyway, if you're all done chatting it up, we're gonna need you out of here soon. We were promised 15 minutes and you've already used up 5 of them.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we're going. Just give us a few minutes to finish grabbing everything.
I do kind of like Tanya, too. It's like... budding mechanic or Kim Kitsuragi cosplay?
Wanna help us out, new kid?
Oh. Jill Harris voiced Caterpie in the Pokemon Starter Squad show on YouTube, and she's also voiced Fuka in the Fuka. Okay. Eileen continues her work, not bothering to turn around as she addresses me. Likely for the best, given the mutual surprise on Caprice and I's faces.
Huh?
Me?
If you're being dragged into the group, you may as well start getting used to it sooner rather than later.
What? No! I was gonna bring them to an actual club meeting. Show them the best we had to offer. I had plans.
I didn't expect Caprice to object before me. Eileen merely shrugs in response.
I also haven't really committed one way or another.
I am just here.
I've heard that one before. 3 times, actually.
Oh.
Jeez, what did I do to earn all this sass today? To be betrayed like this, time and time again, it's more than my poor heart can take.
Lip out. Caprice cranes her neck back and places a hand on her forehead in a display of theatrics, prompting a couple of smiles out of Allison and Wallace. Far cries from the smirk that seemed permanently glued to Heather's face. Oh wow. Also in time I got reincarnated as a slime, as well as My Hero Academia. Oh wow. That is powerful. The thought of Heather is enough to remind me of my current situation, and I snap back to focus my attention on Millie and Darren. Millie seems perturbed. The latter seems content to keep paging through Millie's notebook as a means of staying out of the conversation, but Millie is obviously trying very hard to hide her transparent frustration with a smile.
It's fine. It'll get them out of the room faster, and we'll have time to catch up after you're done. Win-win, right?
She couldn't sound more disappointed if she tried, and boy, is she trying. I don't want to flake on Millie or Darren, given I willingly put myself in here with them, but at the same time, it'd only be a few minutes, and that'll tell me way more about the art club than a fully planned and rehearsed meeting would. Uh-oh. Time to decide! It's non-committal for now either way, so I guess it isn't a big deal, but it's hard not to feel anxious about it. Oh no! Data. Save. 9's a crowd. Time to decide. I love this. A chance to learn about them, for better or for worse. Decision game, ally or betray. Do we ally or betray, Millie? Make your choice. I love this touch here. Look at how happy Caprice is here, and the shock, and betrayal, and happy Millie. Millie is just suffering over here. What's it gonna be? Make your call. I would feel bad leaving them just like this. Then again, Millie already seems to have accepted this outcome. Shock! Art. Or hang with Millie. Caprice. Millie. Caprice. Millie. I'm kind of vibing with the... On a personal level, I'm kind of vibing with the art club as a whole. Over the writing club. But on a technical level, I would be vibing with the writing club more than the art club. Plus, I'd feel bad just leaving them like this. I'm here for a writing club meeting, even if you want to approve it, so...
Well, my original plan was to check out the writing club, so I'm gonna stick with that for now. Thanks for the offer, though.
Well, can't say I didn't try.
Well, the response to my decision is lukewarm, the only one showing any kind of emotion over it being Caprice. A slight frown appearing only for a moment on her face, despite her earlier protesting. Doesn't last long, though, replaced quickly with her typical smile and a small wave before turning her attention back to her club. Part of me hates to turn down the chance to dig deeper into the art club, but I can't bring myself to split from Darren after inviting him in. I feel like I've gotten at least a decent grasp on their personalities, if not their talent.
I really appreciate it.
Just making sure. You know I still haven't made up my mind yet, right? I just want to hear more for now.
I know, don't worry. Now, where were we?
She rests her chin in her right hand for a moment, rewinding on the past few minutes in her head. Millie loading?
Could we talk about the club itself some more, maybe? You mentioned downsizing?
Ah, right. That.
Millie's focus continues, though looking considerably more dour than seconds ago. After taking some time to choose her words, her expression changes once again to a warm smile, as if flipping a switch.
Well, everyone has to move on eventually. It just so happens that last year was the right time for a lot of people. It's just part of the college experience.
Yeah, these things happen.
Well rehearsed and squeaky clean, all in a matter of seconds. You never fail to impress, Prez.
I'm unsure of how to process that, and it seems like Darren's in the same boat, with the only reaction from the three of us is a grimace from Millie.
As self-appointed club historian, I feel the need to point out that this great migration of yours only started after you took the reins, though.
Oh.
Thank you, Heather.
No problem. As the last of the old guard, we have to look after each other, you know?
Confident that she's successfully gotten under Millie's skin, Heather returns to tapping away at her phone, smug expression never once leaving her face. What's the tea? Heather's done her job of getting me curious about Millie's influence on the club, but it feels utterly futile to ask Millie directly about it. Left unsure of how to continue this conversation, I turn to Darren. To my surprise, he seems unusually nonplussed about Heather's interruption.
A smaller club suits me perfectly, actually. I was a lot more anxious when I came in originally and saw so many of you in here.
Millie looks a lot like Kaede from Danganronpa. Yeah? I say the pink vest makes the look.
Exactly. You won't find a better place to express yourself if you're looking for peace and quiet.
I don't mind a little peace and quiet. That's one way to look at it, I guess. Darren doesn't seem to match my skepticism, looking considerably more at ease with Millie's assurances. I must be doing a poor job of hiding my disapproval, as Millie is quick to shift gears once she redirects her attention to me. In a club setting? This is actually a really good size. I will say, in college I was in a creative writing. I did take a creative writing class. I think grand total, the class had like no bigger than 10 or 12, and that was a shockingly good size, so to speak. So it was a good class size for splitting off into multiple groups to workshop stuff together in multiple small groups, and then they occasionally would come together as a large class and discuss, read our work and stuff, and discuss larger groups, and it was a really good class.
But just because we're quiet doesn't mean we're an empty room. Tanya, can I borrow you for a minute?
Millie waves the woman in the back down. Tanya! After giving the art club another cursory once-over, she obliges her friend's request, casually striding up to the front of the room.
Hey again.
Hey.
I want to give you two a proper introduction to Tanya. She's the most recent member, but she's already been a huge help.
Tanya responds by grabbing at my hand and giving it a very firm shake before repeating the process with Darren. Given the way he gently holds the hand in question after the fact, it's safe to assume her grip took him off guard as much as it did me.
Millie Woo, you two over yet?
I think she might be getting there.
Fair enough.
Good to hear.
Well...
We as Olive are, criminally indecisive. 2 words, barely even words, are enough to get a simultaneous frown from Tanya and Millie.
Still got some hang-ups?
I'm just not sure the club has what I'm looking for, I guess.
Well, let's see if we can address that. What are you looking for here?
Good question.
Help with my writing class, assuming I stick with it.
Yes, I'm aware. Anything else?
The expectation in her eyes begins to waver after a few seconds of prolonged silence, making me feel as though I've disappointed her with my response. Tanya, in contrast, is practically beaming.
Is that all? Then you've got nothing to worry about. You couldn't ask for a better tutor than Millie here.
She gives her friend a playful shake on the shoulder.
What about you?
What about me?
What about you?
I guess I was just hoping that I'd have more people around to bounce things off of than just the leader.
I mean, we got you. We got Darren.
Oh.
3's a crowd. Don't know how much we can rely on Heather, but she sheepishly rubs her head as she thinks, making a mess of her hair in the process.
That kind of thing isn't really my strong suit. I don't know if calling on me for writing advice would be the best idea you've ever had.
Okay, so maybe not tutoring from Tanya, but peer review. Feedback. Feedback's always good. Before I even have a chance to air out my concerns, Tanya bounces back, pushing Millie forward.
I told you, though. If there's anyone who could single-handedly drag you across the finish line, it's Millie here.
Although,
Right?
although I suppose feedback's more effective for our own creative endeavors,
Well, I'd certainly try my best.
rather than the classroom goalposts. And so the pitch ends, closer to a whimper than a bang. Looks like Darren's probably been won over, sitting upright and excited at the premise of an empty classroom. That same promise of a near-deserted club makes me sink into my seat. Reach over and grab the notebook from Darren's desk, flipping through it as I absorb as much of the barely legible print as I can. This club's likely a wash, but it'd be hard to deny Millie's own personal expertise of the subject. Wonder if she'd really be enough.
So?
Millie sounds as uncertain as I feel, even with her friend still shaking her arms with a reassuring pride.
I'll think about it. Thanks.
She tried. We are not quite near enough in terms of sorting things through. Friday! Every student's favorite day of the week. Unless you have Saturday classes. In which case, why are you doing this to yourself? Perhaps it's my imagination, but even as I head into the cafeteria, the chattering of the people around me takes on a slightly happier tone than the days before. As for me, my mind is still occupied with thoughts of clubs, classes, and my last-ditch gamble to survive the semester. My stomach grumbles, the smell of food from the tables only reminding me of my hunger. After skipping breakfast and my rush to get to school, I need something more than a cookie from the nearby cafe to get me through the day. The food here's nothing amazing, but I'm hardly picky. At least lunch will be a brief break from my worries, where I can forget...
Olive!
Yeah.
Olive, hey!
So much for that. Caprice waves at me from one of the tables. She has an uncanny knack for detecting my presence in a room, however crowded and busy it may be. I resign myself to my fate and take a seat as the woman next to her gives a small, polite wave.
Hi, Olive.
Hello. To make an odd contrast, Allison's shy, almost nervous, greeting in stark difference to Caprice's overabundant energy.
So, managed to survive Millie's lecturing after we left yesterday?
It was pretty quiet and low-key. Nothing that extreme.
Almost an air of desperation to it.
By quiet, you mean boring, right?
You were just looking for the tea.
Hey now.
Oh?
Yep, it was boring and terrible. The typical writing club MO.
Oh, hi. Now Heather's appeared, which can only make things better. Even though she's decided to walk up and invite herself into our conversation, she doesn't seem all that interested in giving us her full attention. Engrossed in her phone as usual, she barely looks up to address us.
What?
Grace is visibly annoyed, with Heather's only reaction being the corner of her mouth tugging upwards. Heather's passion for pressing people's buttons doesn't stop with Millie, it seems. Oh dear.
Well, Olive, don't feel obligated to give them the time of day. We'll get you through the semester easy peasy. Right, Ollie?
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
Right again. The club is nothing more than a waste of space.
Oh no.
Hey! Nobody asked you!
What? We're agreeing, aren't we?
Well, damn. Heather just out here determined to CM Punk on all of our clubs. Heather's managed to frustrate Caprice into silence as impressive a feat as any. You seem to notice my bemused reaction, face suddenly rebounding into a grin.
I still owe you a proper meeting. You'll come, right?
How do I keep getting caught up in these conversations?
We'll see.
And all the ones after that?
Well, I...
Great! I'll see you then. I gotta take care of some stuff for the fair. Bye, Ellie!
She shoots Heather one last venomous look before hopping out of her chair, beginning to head out of the cafeteria. Look in my eyes.
What about food?
What do you see? The bully of university.
Already ate. Bye.
Capri strikes me as the type to sit there, to get lunch, sit down, and just annihilate it in, like, 5 minutes. How odd. Must have just been keeping Allison company. Wait, what was it that she mentioned about a fair? Before I can call out and clarify, Heather once again speaks up.
Why did you even come to our club when you were already playing house over with Mommy Caprice?
Oh no. Oh no. Allison takes to her feet and grimaces at the comment. I can't help but match her expression.
Please don't call her that.
A little.
Just keeping my options open.
This might be a good opportunity to help with that. I've got a member of each club in front of me, though not for long as Allison picks up her tray of food and slips it into the nearby counter. Heather looks unmoved by Allison and Caprice's abrupt departure. She takes a seat at the table next to me, barely looking up from her phone. Occasionally she'll sip from the can of soda she brought with her. She doesn't seem particularly enthused by the writing club, so I figure she wouldn't spare the unpleasant details. That said, Allison does seem like the honest type, even if she is more loyal. If I hurry, I can still catch her. Just a little, Shirley, yeah! Decision time. Oh. Eh. Her perspective may help, but... Anyone's a better option than Heather. Yeah. All these accents are cute. Shy girl versus girl boss. I mean, I kind of want to go. I kind of want to talk to Heather since we seem to be. I want that writing club tea. I like them both, honestly. Yeah, they're both charming in their own ways. Very curious to know what's going on beneath the surface here. I'm gonna make the executive decision here. Sketchy skills. Alright, Heather. I had intended to get some food, but that can wait. This is as likely as close to her full attention as I'll ever get.
So, about the writing club.
Don't ask me.
That was fast.
But you're a member, right?
Sharp as a tack. I was worried it may have flown over your head yesterday.
Alright, bet. Why couldn't Tanya have been the one to find us here? I'm tempted to cut my losses and just walk away, but...
Are meetings typically like yesterday?
Who knows? I only show up often enough to remind them I'm still around. I'd imagine things are much less exciting with only Millie and her flunky loitering in a room together, though.
Oh?
So Millie's the only one doing any actual writing, huh?
Oh, don't you worry about that. Tanya and I hand in papers every now and again if Millie asks. Gotta keep in the boss's good graces, you know how it is.
What's with that wording? The boss. And you're doing a fantastic job of that, I'm sure.
If you're asking about the number of willing participants, though, I guess you're right on the money.
I don't know if I'd call a group like that the writing club, really.
You can call it a club all you want, but it's just Millie's hobby at this point. If she wasn't so obsessed, it'd be long gone by now. As soon as the old guard graduated, everyone left with them. It was just a bunch of friends. The writing side was totally just in the name.
Ah. Putting her phone down, she leans her chair back and begins to rock dangerously while staring up at the ceiling. It feels like she's talking more with herself than me at this point.
Wonder what I'll do once the thing's put out of its misery.
If it's that much of a bother, why go there in the first place?
To kill time?
That's it?
Well.
That's it. What do you want, an essay?
5-paragraph essay. Much as I want to think less of her for it, there's plenty of people who just go to clubs to pass the day. What she says is true. That's all the club was ever before Millie tried to give it a point. As I ponder, Heather becomes restless. She stands and gives a loud stretch.
I'm gonna go get another drink. You want anything?
If you're offering,
No, I guess you're not offering. Okay, bye. And she's gone. Guess I should have seen that coming. As she walks off, I sigh in frustration. Looks like no matter which club I go for, I'm going to be in for a trial. With class still some time ahead of me, I find myself wandering the halls, going over my choices in my head. Uh-oh.
Hey.
Oh, hey. Art, sign up now! I just about bump into Haley, who was carrying some poster board and other materials.
whoa, hey, you need some help?
Without answering, she shoved some of her supplies in my direction, which I take. I already have a general idea of where she was heading.
The gymnasium, right?
Heather's smirk is really powerful. Yes.
Smart. Come on, you've been drafted.
Oh no. She goes, and I follow.
So, how'd the meeting go yesterday?
You didn't hear about it?
Oh, I heard tons of things. But I'm interested in your perspective.
I would love nothing more than a 5-minute mental break from the Caprice and Millie war. Unfortunately, it looks like something I won't be able to avoid anytime soon.
Well, I'm not even entirely sure what happened. It felt like a sudden whirlwind.
Yeah, sounds like them.
Oh? As we enter the large building, I see that the area has been filled with tables arranged in rows. There are students running about, readying their booths.
Hey, where are we taking all this?
Over here.
Oh? Oh no. Oh no. They are literally side by side. I follow her to a table. Or what's supposed to be a table anyways. Instead, I find 2 smaller booths cramped inside the same small space, covered in red and blue cloth. One is a very formal-looking sign which reads, Creative Writing. The other is a very slapdash sign simply reading, Art! Clearly written by the same hand.
You get the rundown on how they're sharing a spot already?
Did you write both of these?
More or less. I remember them packing up a lot more than just a couple tablecloths and posters, though.
Oh, that's what they were talking about. So that's what they meant when they were talking at Millie's meeting yesterday. Art! Also, join art.
The art club is off turning all that into brochures and other promo material for the 2 right now. This is all just bare bones stuff.
I'm surprised Millie trusts them enough to handle that.
Ooh. Haley tucks her armful of supplies safely under the writing club's desk. I follow suit, emptying my hands as she lifts the cloth up for me.
Millie gets along well enough with all of them. It won't be an issue.
Could have fooled me.
Things are just complicated right now is all. You saw how they were at the diner.
Are you talking about their friendly small talk or them trying to poach me from each other?
Yeah.
That's why I called it complicated.
Yeah, that's an apt description. You daren't brush off the call of art. She brings a hand to her headphones, debating pulling them over her ears. After a moment, she thinks better of it, deciding to instead lean lazily against the writing table.
You're committed at this point, right? You're gonna be picking one or the other?
Yeah, that's about as far as I've gotten in my thinking, though.
No particular feelings so far?
Oh, tons of feelings. Most of them dread. It all sort of cancels each other out.
Olive is a big mood. Tons of feelings. Most of them dread. That's a very apt mood.
Well, good luck.
Thanks. I have a feeling I'm gonna need it.
Wait, what's up?
That was just Millie stuff. Gotta head over to the art room now.
Oh no.
Want me to come with you?
I've got it covered, thanks.
Once again, the headphones coming up signify the end of the conversation. Well, she pulls herself up from the table and starts making her way past me without any further elaboration. It may be impossible to decipher Millie and Caprice's goings-on, but trying to get a read on their roommate is an entirely different experience. I debate sticking around to catch her again, but decide against it and make my way out of the auditorium, going out of my way to leave through the opposite doors. Haley feels like she's caught in the middle of all this. The next day, back at home. Today marks a day so rare that I can't remember the last like it. Something so monumental, the full implications haven't yet settled in. A day without school, study, or work. The sizzling of bacon rings in my ears, its smell playing on my nose. With the time on my hands, for once I've decided to start the day with a simple pleasure, the taste of eggs and bacon for a late breakfast. As I nudge the bacon with a spatula, I take a sip of the steaming coffee beside me. Unfortunately, my skills in cooking haven't translated to my skills as a barista. The concoction proving foul. If it weren't badly needed caffeine, I'd have tipped out already. Nothing like good breakfast and bad coffee. The little cactus sitting on my window still catches my eye. My pride and joy, as embarrassing as that may be to admit. Easy to take care of, too.
Looks like you're doing better than me these days.
My words to the plant go unheard. Living alone isn't the easiest thing. Every chore, meal, and errand needs doing myself, after all. But it is comfortable. I can do things on my own schedule and eat at my own pace. Solitude might not be easy, nor cheap, but it is simple. Pleased with the plant's quiet and unassuming company, I take another sip of my foul coffee. Distant ping from the couch announces a received text. Considering how few people I know, it's either mom or work calling in to ask me to help cover a shift. Knowing which I prefer, I turn down the heat on the stove and walk over to pick up my phone. Oh! Over near the top and bottom, use mouse wheel to scroll through texts. Ollie, you home right now? Yeah, what's up? If I drop by for a bit, maybe over lunch? Sure. Great. See you then. See ya. She's fussing over me again, as she so often does in quiet moments. It's hard not to notice this happening more often now that I'm living alone, though she's, never outright admitted that. Not that it really matters. I cherish any free time we get to spend together. It's not like I had anything in particular planned for this day ahead. Besides, she can probably lend some more insight. Let us talk about art. I sure hope my bacon didn't burn. Mom sits at the small table. It's shabby, scuffed wood adorned with a small pastry box she's brought with her from the diner. It's a bit of a comfort to know that, even living apart, she still brings extra treats for me. I'm thankful I had a light breakfast. Oh.
Honey, you really didn't need to cook for me. At least let me help.
I was going to cook lunch for myself anyway. Whether it's for 1 or 2 people, doesn't make that much difference.
Yeah, it's one of those instant, one of the things that just instantly amps up the aesthetic. You do a proper text UI interface of sorts. Oh, Mom! I carefully bring the 2 plates over for the kitchen counter, each loaded with chicken, vegetables, and rice. Despite her protests, Mom's eyes widen at the meals it's placed before her, still steaming away.
This is better than having to cook for yourself. You deserve better than work food every other day anyway.
Twofold? What happened to Onefold? We graduated. We graduated, Lamp. We've achieved the legendary second fold. She smiles excitedly at the plates, shifting the box from side to side. To the side.
It looks as good as it smells.
Thanks. So, how's work?
I take my seat next to her upon placing down my own plate of food. Mom talks about her day as I sit and take a knife and fork in hand.
And she's yelling at me. Her baby is crying, and her other kid, I'm telling you, they had the most embarrassed look. But what can I do? Except apologize. And of course, she didn't even tip.
Of course not. Rude.
Sorry I wasn't there to help you deal with that.
I'm glad you weren't there. Speaking of which, how's your day off been so far?
Oh, boring. Stressful.
When will we reach the moon with 42-fold? Oh, goodness. We can't handle that kind of power. Chicken, vegetables, and rice, a simple but nourishing meal. Indeed.
What did you do?
I sat around here, mostly just a lot of thinking.
Boring, stressful. That's a mood, honestly.
Ollie, it's your day off. At least take some time for yourself.
You do? It's so relatable to have a day off of completely nothing and have that consumed by the thoughts of everything that's going to just be resumed once your day off is over and you're back on the normal grind. And yet we know that you need to let it go and decompress, and yet we can't. God, all of it's so relatable.
With what's been going on...
Still turn up about your classes, huh?
Yeah, guess so. And things just keep getting more complicated.
What do you mean?
I explained to her about the clubs, between the meeting from a couple of days ago, the upcoming fair, and the feud between the two leaders. She listens attentively, her expression varying between interest and concern. I feel myself deflate further and further as I talk, the hopelessness of the situation becoming all the clearer as I put it into words. Never quite sunk in until now, just how bad my options are.
I really don't know what to do, Mom.
She has that soft, caring smile I've seen so many times in my life. God, God, instead of focusing on how much time you have off, it's more like how much time you have left to get back to the grind and stresses of life. That's exactly right, Liam. That's exactly right. I hate how accurate that is, but it's so true. God.
I know it's tough, but look at it this way. Even if they're fighting, the club leaders have been nothing but nice to you, right?
Accurate?
Sure. Maybe a bit too nice.
Sales pitch versus actual day-to-day club life?
I just don't know how things will go. My whole college career hinges on this.
If you're late to the party, Olive has to pass either a creative writing or art class in order to get enough credits to not fail out, essentially, to not have to take an extra year. Hence their comment about their whole college career hinging on this.
You're more resilient than you give yourself credit for. I'm sure you'll pull through. Everyone wants you to do well. I know you won't regret your choice, whatever it is.
That's easy to say.
It's true, though. You're wasting your day off stressing over it. Take the rest of the day for yourself. Relax, do something you enjoy. Don't make it another day of stress. That way you'll be going to this fair with a clearer head.
Yes. That's easier said than done. That's, dang it, also true. Also true. Well, all of us has a life crisis. Can I just say that I am looking respectfully at August? Rev? You took the words out of my mouth. She does have a point, though. I can't do anything more than I've already done at this point. Might not sit right with me that my future depends on people I barely know, but those two are who I'm stuck with. I have no choice but to gamble on this.
I'll try.
Same brain cell. Same brain cell. Share between the three of us. You, me, and Lamp.
That's my Ollie.
Honestly, top tier mom. Also, lovely, lovely mom. She gives me a hug and a kiss on the forehead.
Now?
She pulls out the pastry box from earlier and places it on the table.
I brought a slice for each of us. Which one do you want? I'll let you pick first.
What do we got? What do we got? Inside lies 2 slices of pie. Signatures for the diner we work at. 1 slice of blueberry, 1 slice of cherry. If I didn't know any better, I'd think she had done this on purpose. Oh no! Can I receive a blessing from my pool? Oh no. New Genshin banner dropped. New Genshin banner dropped. This is my blessing for you, Lamp. This worked. There. I bless you. I bless your gacha rolls. Mondays come around again. I took Mom's advice and tried to relax after she left yesterday. I don't know if I succeeded. I feel like I've come back from an exhausting weekend. Today's the day of the fair. Not sure if I'm sold on either choice yet, but I don't really have time to mull it over anymore. Went over it again and again. I'm hoping seeing them at the fair today will finalize that. Thank you for the blessing. My pleasure. I will tell you, I just had some fantastic gacha luck this morning myself, so I am sending any of the remaining gacha blessing I have stored up your way. With morning study over, the cafe beckons for a quick pick-me-up before going to war at the club fair's gymnasium venue. Never having been to this kind of event before, I expect chaos, especially so given the circumstances. The oak tree. Well, this looks charming. Heading in, the place is thankfully quiet. The scant few students quietly sipping lattes while tapping on laptops or hunched over books. It wouldn't feel unusual any other day, but right now it feels like the calm before the storm. Uh-oh. Hi. A particular lanky girl catches my eye, as much for her bright getup and headphones as anything else. Haley sits quietly as she listens to her music, hand in chin with a small coffee beside her. For someone so mild-mannered, she sure stands out. Picks her head up and waves me over. Pulling up a seat, she rights herself a bit and takes a sip. Her grimace shows that it's either cold or bad. Probably only bought it to avoid being kicked out for hanging around without ordering.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi. Done with fair prep?
Yep. I helped them finish setting their tables up this morning, so I've got the rest of the day off till the car ride home.
It's bound to be an awkward time after the fair today.
Haley can only give a weak shrug in response.
Caprice doesn't ride with us much nowadays. Dinner the other day was just an exception to the rule.
Got her on the 30? Oh, nice! Yeah! Winning! We are winning. A celebratory yeah for you. I wonder how I should read that. The meeting was definitely a bit tense. I didn't think it'd be to that point where they'd be avoiding each other to that degree.
Are things okay? Like, between them, I mean.
That meeting in the diner a few days back seemed pretty normal. But that was the exception, apparently. Her face remains as deadpan as ever, but I can faintly make out a raise in her eyebrows. I guess a question like that out of nowhere probably deserves a reaction like that.
They've just been having some personal stuff going on for a while, and things are, volatile. Nothing you need to worry about. Probably.
Probably, that's concerning. It's that expression of hers there in response to our question and those raised eyebrows. It's more like it's a long story.
Probably.
Would it make you feel any better if I said, definitely?
Fair enough.
It would not, in fact, make me feel better. Pinch the bridge of my nose in frustration, an act that apparently does not go unnoticed by her.
This stressing you out that much?
You don't know the half of it. The situation on my end is pretty dire.
You'll be fine. Promise. I mean it this time.
How do you figure?
If you're just worried about your grades or whatever, they'll both make sure you get to where you need to be. They've never let me down anyway.
Another sip of her coffee, supposedly forgetting about the reaction she just had to it. As expected, her face contorts immediately in response.
Even if that's true, being stuck in the middle of those two like this just makes the entire thing feel more overwhelming than it probably needs to be, you know?
Yeah, well, join the club.
I've been stressing about just dealing with him this morning. I can't imagine actually sharing a living space with those two. I want to feel pity for Haley, but the small smile on her face makes me second-guess that decision.
Get it?
The club.
Yeah.
The club.
I got it.
The club. Join the club, Olive. Join the club, Olive. Get in the club. Bum. Content that her joke landed, she pulls her headphones back on over her ears. Our conversation at its end.
Get your drink and get out there. Don't let me keep you. Good luck.
Alright. Nice talking to you.
Yep.
I do like Haley. She's chill. Wait, What is it? What is this club? What is this club in front of us? Is this the clubbing club? Is this the clubbing club? It is the clubbing club. I want to join the clubbing club. What is this club? Who is this guy? I need to know. I want to join the clubbing club. And what is this club over here? This is the Try-Be Poetry Club? I'm intrigued. Poetry. Poetry? Just get yourself a club and you're in. We're accepting new members. Just get yourself a club and you're in. Oh shoot. Where am I gonna get a club? Can I just found Club Dawn? I am the founding member and only member of Club Dawn. So I can join the clubbing club. Maybe I can join Poetry here. I'm very curious. By the time I arrive, the club fair is in full swing. There must be hundreds of freshmen with the scattering of second years here and there fill the hall and mill about. It's interesting to see which ones look like they're on a mission as they head directly for a particular club, compared to others who peruse the tables as if browsing a farmer's market. No, I gotta beat the Hostess Club minigame from Yakuza 0. Oh no! I am in danger. The whole sub-story questline. Oh no! Yo dog, I heard you like clubs, so I clubbed together a new club so you can club while you're clubbing. Heck yeah! Oh, it's just tripo poetry. Okay. Dozens of small stalls are lined up with varying amounts of work put into them. Piles of flyers sit on each, the odd standee or prop set up to try to catch the gaze of passing students. Most of those behind club tables look more bored than anything, some having checked out completely as they lean back and browse on their phones. The occasional happy shout rings out as old friends recognize each other, but for the most part it's a surprisingly subdued affair. A nice surprise that calms the nerves a little, but not quite enough to really feel comfortable. We haven't found Millie and Caprice yet, so we're still in the chill hours here. Strolling around the aisles, I casually note the more niche club entries, such as robotics, fighting games, and fencing. I could probably be persuaded to join a couple of them under different circumstances. Fighting games club would be fun. Fencing would be interesting just to learn. Nearing the end of one particular aisle, it isn't hard to spot, or should I say, hear the art club's table.
Looking for fun? Come to the art club. We're accepting anybody, no artsy experience required.
Sounds about right. Oh, there they are. Join. On guard. Millie sits beside her, hands together on the table as she patiently tries to catch the eyes of those passing by. Oh no. The formal act strikes me as a little put on, not helped by her occasional slips when Caprice gets louder than usual. Oh no. How these two could live together has me beat, yet here they are, with their two small tables stuffed into one assigned space together. I feel like I'll never fully understand the relationship these two have. Then it happens. Oh no. Olive! You're here! Caprice and Millie both set eyes on their prey at the same time. Far from a fight breaking out, an intensely awkward silence reigns between the three of us as they carefully maintain their smiling facades, the occasional student passing by only exacerbating the standoff. Wow, wow, wow. Sighing at the cruel fate assigned to me, I realize I'll have to take the initiative.
Alright, so we all know what's happening here. Let me hear it.
This club's ain't big enough for the two of us.
If I may, the writing club's a great working environment, and you could get a lot more done in a peaceful workplace than a party.
Point, Millie.
And being a real club, we have actual resources and didn't have to rely on sneaking into the club fair to even be here.
Point, also Millie. Even if she's too eager to bite, Millie isn't really wrong as she sneaks a smug look to her right.
Shows how much you know. I actually did the paperwork.
Well, good for you.
And yet here you are, sharing my allocated space.
I don't need to explain anything. Olive's seen how great we are already.
Join! Caprice on her own definitely has an overwhelming personality, but her club seems mellow enough. That combined with the fact that the art class is likely to be easier overall is tempting. I mean... The writing club, on the other hand, well, Millie herself seems really into the subject matter, at least. Even if the rest of the club isn't much of a factor, it'd be hard to find a better tutor.
So, have you made your decision?
Oh no!
Let's hear it!
Oh no! Dun 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 dun. Whichever club I pick, I'll have to drop both the other club and the other class. There's not much chance I could do both and pull out a pass. Yeah! Yeah! Oh no. There it is. Title drop. Scene is called Twofold. I'm for writing for reasons. Understandable. Millie's writing club, Caprice's art club. I love Caprice's energy, but I do kind of want to learn more about. I mean, we got the basic idea of what's going on in the writing club. Millie's the only voice. The less bad option. Millie's the only voice who seems actually passionate about writing, but I mean, hey, it could work. Also, because I'm just bad with art and would 110% join writing. Yeah, especially in this circumstance, Lamp, where along with the club we join, we're taking the corresponding class. So, I would personally thrive more in the writing class. That would lead me to take writing club over art club. Oh, dejected Caprice. I don't want to let down Caprice though, but she's, yeah. Oh. We are definitely going to do both paths. But I think for now, we're going to join the writing club.
Sorry, Caprice, but I think the best shot I've got is with Millie.
I actually love writing. Perfectionism hates when I do art. Oh. That is relatable. The collapse of Caprice's face stings a little, though at least Millie has the grace to give her a moment to deal with it. She bounces back in true Caprice fashion, settling for pouting as she sits back down in her chair. Millie takes the response as her cue.
Thank you, Olive. Pleased to have you aboard.
The achievement is titled, How Bad Could It Be? She catches herself and reels her excitement back in, though not quite quick enough for it to go unnoticed. Even if she was successful in lightening her tone, the large smile on her face is still as obvious a tell as any.
Your first club meeting will be on Thursday evening then. I'm sure you know the place.
Have fun being bored with boring people. If you want to switch, the door is always open.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yep. That's the nicest no I could muster. I have to make sure I can pass, and the writing club is the best chance of that. Saying my goodbyes, we agree to meet later before I take my leave and head out from the gym. The writing club. If nothing else, at least there's some comfort in knowing what I'm in for. Next few months are going to be a trial, but Millie definitely seems the better tutor for dragging me past the exams. Only one way forward now, I guess. I'm still struggling with the idea of putting all my trust into a single person, but it's the best option I have. Even if her smile was just the result of her winning her little war with Caprice, something about it manages to reassure me, at least a little. And that's the prologue done. Takes a moment for my eyes to adjust as I step out into the dazzling sun. It's a Thursday evening, and that means everyone with a life is leaving the grounds as fast as their legs can take them. Everyone else, myself included, is walking right back into the campus. I pick up my pace as I walk. It'd look bad if I was late to the club I just joined. Reaching the arts building, I wait for the flow of students escaping the day's classes to taper off before squeezing inside and leaving the beauty of fall behind. Looks like a full house today, as sad as the idea is. The only sound to be heard is the squeak of a marker on the whiteboard. Millie shoots me a polite smile as she notices me enter, before busying herself further with her very important work. Oh wow, it is a full house. Tanya rocks her chair while looking out the window. Heather apathetically plays with her phone, and Darren dutifully writes in his notebook. So Darren is the only one taking this seriously. Almost 2 hours in, and we just made it past the prologue. Yeah, I mean, it has only been, like, a week. Like, the prologue covers the span of a week, I believe, before we have to commit and drop one of the classes. So yeah. If nothing else, we have Millie, who is a more than capable tutor. We have Darren, who actually seems interested in the writing. Tanya is here as a friend, and Heather is here just to spill tea all over everyone. Taking out my backpack and swinging it beside me, I take a seat in the front row with the others, the only open seat being next to Heather. Can't imagine why. As the seconds roll by, and at a loss for what exactly I'm supposed to do, I busy myself with looking around the mostly empty room. The really, almost totally empty room. The desks are organized into a perfect grid. Spare pencils fill the pen holders on the benches around the room. Teacher's desk, commandeered by Millie, is neatly organized with notebooks and folders. Everything is perfectly set up for the class ahead. Millie, are you pursuing an education major because you have the exact perfect temperament for it? Standing alone at the front of the room, Millie looks more like an actor playing a part in an empty theater than a club leader. She's taking her time comparing the notes in her well-worn journal to what she's writing on the board, but she's coming across as more nervous than diligent. In my wandering thoughts, I lock eyes with Heather for a moment. I offer a polite smile. Being that we're in the same club, for better or for worse, it's worth it. At least trying to get along with her. Rather than return the awkward greeting, she simply rolls her eyes and goes back to her phone.
Wow, the art club was that bad, huh? Caprice must have left a pretty horrible impression for you to end up here.
Good to see you too. She doesn't look up from her cell as she talks, scrolling through her social feed way too fast to actually be reading anything on it.
What? No, it's not that. This just seemed like a more legitimate club. At the time.
At the time. Heather scoffs at that, half smiling in a way that mocks more than words possibly could.
What is it we're actually meant to do? Beyond writing, that is.
Show up every Tuesday and Thursday. So long as we have an extra warm body in the room, the club doesn't get killed off.
The snap of Millie's notebook closing takes my attention. Our teacher turning back to the classroom. Heather pointedly turns slightly away from me, ending the conversation.
Welcome to another meeting, members new and old. I'll get right into it since I know everyone's busy. Everyone will do some writing today on a topic they'll choose. You can finish your stories off after the meeting if you don't find the time today. At the next meeting, we'll share our work with each other. That'll help us all gauge where we're at in our writing skills and what we'd like to focus on going forward.
Honestly, that's not a bad plan. Spend one day a week brainstorming and writing, polish up something to present at the other day of the week. That's a good plan. I like that. Like the dead silence from earlier, Millie's trying to project her voice in a loud and clear way, even if it's only the four of us. Whatever issues the club may be having, I'm reminded of why I thought it was the better choice. She's earnest. At the very least, gives off the air of a good teacher.
Question, Miss Clark. How long does the story have to be?
Miss Clark is really playing into this.
Only as long as you want. This isn't classwork.
Lucky us.
Unlike Tanya's somewhat rehearsed-sounding participation, Heather isn't even hiding that she intends to do nothing. Darren looks like he's copying down the notes at the whiteboard, so that leaves only me left as Millie turns toward my direction.
If you need any help, don't hesitate to ask.
I'm getting the doki dokis. Oh no, we're not even going there. Real
I don't know where to
literature
even
club.
start, to be honest. I haven't read a book on my own time since 5th grade. I'm better at more logical subjects. The arts aren't really my thing.
And this does explain Olive's concern.
The world isn't so neat that everything can be divided up into logical or creative sorts. A blank page is always a writer's worst enemy, but this is a writing club, not a workshop. We can work through it together.
She closes her eyes, giving serious thought as to how to best make do with my less than useful outlook. To my surprise, it doesn't take long before her eyes reopen, a newfound sparkle in them.
Tell me, where do you think a story should start?
At the beginning?
The beginning?
Not necessarily. Start wherever.
Wrong. A story starts with a plan. A story without a plan is just a meandering series of sentences.
I mean, fair. I wasn't prepared for this passion. Glancing sideways to see if this is considered normal, my neighbor sits there, unfazed, apathetically scrolling her phone. That answers that, then.
So, let's start at the real beginning. The highest layer of writing a story. An idea. Someone give me a one-sentence idea for a story. No details at all, just the elevator pitch.
Alright. What's your elevator pitch? Throw it out there right now. Let's see.
A knight saves a princess from a castle.
Whoa, powerful. Tanya jumps up, suddenly looking way more excited. She smiles as Millie claps her hands together and writes it on the board. I appreciate her input. The atmosphere of the room changes ever so slightly in the spirit of collaboration. Can't bully my school at a club like this. Oh, honestly.
Excellent. That's a high-level story concept. Ideas are quick and easy to come up with, but finding one you're excited about is the most important part.
God, it's been a while for me. I finally had I finally have an idea I'm excited about. Now it's just about the time to plan it out and write it out in more detail.
Now, down to the next layer. What 3 things should any story have?
So I think this might actually be a good route for me to play too, to give us everyone who needs that writing motivation. Teach me, Millie-Sensei. She pauses and looks back to all of us. Tanya sits back down and looks around to the rest of us for help. Seeing me look entirely lost and Darren avoiding her eye contact, Tanya gives Heather's desk a small kick. Well, regular kick. Heather responds with an annoyed and glares at the ceiling as she responds. Considering everything about Heather, that was a pretty tame response. Wonder how often something like this happens.
Introduction, conflict, resolution.
Thank you, Heather. Now, Tanya's story about the knight and the princess needs an introduction, a conflict, and a resolution. Darren, could you fill that out for us?
Introduction. Knight, princess, kingdom. Conflict, princess is kidnapped and trapped in a tower. Knight storms the tower to save princess. Resolution. Knight defeats the evil villain, rescues princess.
I guess it'd be...
Returns home.
The knight and the princess's situation is set up for the introduction. The conflict is the idea itself. The knight has to save the princess. Then I guess the resolution is for the princess and knight to get married and live happily ever after.
Almost there, but the conflict needs to be an obstacle to reaching the conclusion. Why does the princess need saving? What's in the way of the two being together?
Dragon!
Usually, it'd be something like a dragon has her locked up.
Oh, look at that silly little dragon! Look at the cute little dragon. I just want to give it a little pat in the snoot.
Good,
Boop.
but now this story feels a little too formulaic.
Boop the snoot.
How about for the assignment this week, you all write the story of the princess and the knight with your very own twist. Something to make the story uniquely yours.
And we were the dragon all along!
There's
It's such a
one
cute little
last layer
derpy
before we
dragon.
start writing in earnest. We have our outline, but now we need to attack the structure. How do you approach a big project? We need to take our story outline and break it up further into chapters. If you like TV shows, think of them as episodes, or maybe as different scenes from a play.
Resolution. Demon Lord accidentally burns down her keep while defending it for the night. Oh no!
How about 3 chapters, or just paragraphs for a short story, between each of the introduction, conflict, and resolution?
I feel like that would be an interesting exercise, just... Even if you don't write out the complete story, just... A chapter's worth of writing from the story introduction, just develop some plot points, set the scene, a chapter in the midst of conflict, a chapter in the midst of the resolution. Like a slice of each, the 3 core sections of your story.
You can change that as you go if things don't feel right, but that gives us a framework to hang our story on. There, does that look like something you can write?
I can kind of see it in my head now. Yeah.
I am getting way too into Millie's lesson here. I want to join your writing club, Millie.
This whole process doesn't feel very creative, though. I mean, carefully dissecting a story into layers and components feels a bit clinical.
It's a starting point. It gives you a template for you to build onto. Sparkle shines in her eye. I've stumbled into something she wanted me to work out for myself.
So clinical that you might say it's almost logical?
Millie neuron activation noises. Tanya gives an amused snort from the other side of the class, and even Darren smiles a little at that. She got me. She was leading me to that this entire time. Millie leans back on the desk behind her and lets me stew for a moment. She's good. She's good.
There's no clear line between creativity and logic. You need both to write, or make any sort of art. To paint a person, I imagine you need to understand anatomy. To write a story, you need to understand structure and how readers will think. Don't get hooked up on being as imaginative and original as you can. Just practice. Write badly.
Another good point. Don't get hung up on choning out the perfect story right away. Just put it out there. Work on it later.
After
Work
a
on
while,
cleaning it up
you'll
later.
come to intuitively understand why some things work and others don't. Like a driver slowly learns to work a car without thinking about how they're doing it.
It's still a habit I'm terrible at. But just write. Just put it out there. Even if it sucks, just do it.
And when you're stuck, you can always talk it out. Giving each other feedback is the most important and fun part of writing. So
Damn
take
straight.
some time to plan it out, think of your knight and princess, and ask around if you're stuck. We can all share our stories next Tuesday.
Honestly, we should start our own writing club. Just workshop stuff on our own and drop drafts on each other. Like, that's something I've always wanted to do in some online space that I'm a part of. Just bring together some kind of collaborative writing group just to share drafts, share bits and bobs with, and workshop stuff, and like, my writing has thrived the most when I've had like a group setting to bounce off of and to get feedback on, and to like, I need the kick in the pants to actually stick to it, or else my brain moves on after too long and I lose the drive for whatever particular piece I'm working on. So I really want to find that group setting again one of these days. Can I join your club, Millie? I really want to join your club. Gosh dang it. The room's already awash with the orange of sunset by the time I sit up to take a break. Let's create a club then, yes! With the meeting winding down, the rest of the members having largely stopped paying attention to their notebooks, I looked down at my own. A truly awful mess of words looked back up at me. Stuff like this makes me question the entire premise of writing. How could I mess up so badly at doing the very thing I did back in high school English? That said, I can't deny that breaking down the story, as Millie said, has already helped a lot with the entire process. I think back to the literature textbook sitting somewhere in my apartment. Language was more difficult, but the whole point of the class has been about finding author intent and how it's successful. I'm still not confident in being able to identify what makes a good story, but having the vocabulary to start thinking about it, its components, is a relief. Much of this seems like basic stuff. I can't help but be a bit annoyed at myself again for checking out at all during my high school English classes. My saving grace right now is Millie, who seems more than happy to use club time as a teacher rather than a fellow club member. Ruffling of papers as people pack up makes it clear that everyone else is either done for the day or giving up. Following their lead, I slip the pens and papers into my bag. Darren's still fussing about, Heather preoccupied with her phone, and Tanya chatting with Millie while sitting in the teacher's desk. Looks like I'm the first out as I give our leader a quick wave while passing.
Oh, before you go.
Bing! I stopped in my tracks, having so nearly escaped. The sight of Millie's hand happily outstretched, palm up, confuses me.
Yes?
Phone.
What? My eyes narrow at the request.
I just wanted to take down your number and put in contacts for the others.
Even though she doesn't seem the type to text non-stop or call at random hours of the day, a part of me is dreading giving someone I've only just met my number. It might be helpful to have on hand in case I have an actual writing class question, though. Reluctantly, I pull the phone out of my pocket and hand it to her.
Why do you have everyone's numbers anyway? Don't you meet twice a week?
In case I need to deliver club news. It's a natural school club thing. As she finishes up, Millie gives an alarmingly large grin as she places my phone back in my palm.
Ah, but that's not all we do.
Uh-oh. Millie turns back to the club members, all stopping what they're doing as she proudly puffs her chest out.
To welcome in our new members, I'm announcing the first group outing for the reorganized writing club.
Oh no. Oh, that's cute. Pen to paper. The little Millies. So many little Millies cheering us on. That's adorable. It's adorable. A couple days later. The trees are a nice color this time of year. Fall's always been my favorite season as far as I can remember. It's not as hot as summer, and spring's weather changes wildly in a single day. Making the most of the few warm days left of the year, I passed my morning raking up the leaves which have piled up on the paths outside the apartment building. No one else in the complex seems interested in this kind of busy work, but I've come to enjoy little chores like this, giving me time to quietly work away in solitude. I all but jump out of my skin as a deafening wolf whistle rings out from behind me, my sense of peace abruptly ruined. Looking behind me as I clutch my rake out of reflex, Tanya hangs out the door of a small parked car, grinning ear to ear. A scarlet-faced Millie desperately attempts to tug her friend back into the driver's seat.
Good to see you hard at work, Olive.
Hi.
Tanya, please.
They sure are a pair. It surprises me how someone as proper as Millie befriended someone so, everything as Tanya.
I don't know this woman, I swear.
Come on, I'm just having a bit of fun.
I see you two are full of energy this morning.
Meanwhile, you're doing your best impression of a responsible adult.
That's an accurate description.
Just an impression, though. I want to say living alone is a hassle due to chores like this piling up, but honestly, I appreciate the mundaneness of it.
You don't have a roommate around to help?
Nah, Mom pops over now and again, but it's mostly just me, myself, and I.
Both of them look a little surprised as I shake my head. I hadn't thought of my situation that unusual, but maybe I just got used to it.
The car yours, Millie?
Yep, my pride and joy. I was helping my dad restore it since before I could even drive.
Oh.
Gets quite a workout, too, fearing your roommates around. I'm telling you, you should make the bums get their own licenses.
It's not a problem, really. Besides, Caprice started taking the trolley.
Oh no. Tanya gives her a questioning smile. Like they do with the thing between her and Caprice. They must have a proper beef with each other for it to even affect the logistics of getting around.
You have a nice place.
The graffiti adds to the aesthetic, yeah.
I mean it, compared to some of the places students live.
On the scale of cheap, affordable student housing, you are doing pretty nice, Olive. She gives a small glance over to Tanya for just a moment, who responds with a dismissive shrug. I have seen a fair share of cheap student housing, and you're doing remarkably well, Olive.
How are the neighbors?
The old ones had a dog that loved waking up the complex with this barking every night. They moved out in the last couple months, though, thankfully. Couldn't tell you anything about the new ones.
While we may keep to ourselves, that doesn't mean they don't make their presence known in other ways. Ones above me like loud music with lots of bass. One of the mailboxes is constantly full. As soon as I begin to wonder if the owner of that apartment's passed away, the mail mysteriously gets collected overnight. Then the cycle starts all over again. They're either really neglectful, or they just only show up like once a month. Wonder what they think of me. We all live our lives without talking to each other at all, despite living just inches apart.
So, are we doing this thing? Should be about time we headed off.
Sure, just let me put this away. Thanks again for giving me a lift.
Oh, is it writing club get-together day?
Not at all. It's the least I can do after taking your free time for something like this.
Alright. Let's do this. Where are we off to? As we roll to a stop and Millie cuts the engine, the occasional honking of impatient cars still navigating the busy streets punctuates the low rumble of the crowds. Oh dear. I'm the first out of the little car, stretching myself out as much as I can, doing my best to shake out the ache of being crammed in that tiny box during rush hour. Oh! Me. Millie and Tanya, on the other hand, are entirely unfazed, stepping out with little dramatics. Never felt embarrassed about stepping out of a car before, but I guess there's a first time for everything.
Man, downtown's packed today. All the outlets are probably having clearances before bringing out the winter clothes.
You think Heather and Darren are stuck in traffic? It was pretty blocked up on the way in. Where's the signing at anyway?
Signing?
Bookstore is a bit of a hike up the road from here, but this is probably the closest parking spot we're going to get. The forecast called for a chance of rain today. I hope they get here soon.
Can't say I've ever been to a book signing. It's rare I even get to go to a bookstore these days, unless you want to count the one on campus. Can see the appeal, insofar as being able to meet an important person face to face. Same goes for sports autographs, even if I've never been into that either. Also feels like the kind of thing a writing club is supposed to do. As new to the club as I might be, I can't shake the feeling that there's a difference between what a writing club should do and what our club members might want to do. Our attention is distracted from the people hugging their coats by the sharp pinging coming from Millie. And Tanya and I wait in silence as she pulls the phone from her pocket and reads the incoming message.
It's Darren.
Darren's bailing.
So, where is he? Looks like he's not coming.
That's the more surprising of the two.
Huh. Seemed like such an eager beaver, too. Did he say why?
Millie shakes her head.
I'll just be a minute. I'm going to give Heather a call.
Heather feels like the more obvious one to blow this off. Tanya and I exchange a brief glance as Millie steps away, tapping on her phone before bringing it to her ear. The two of us watch and wait, Millie fiddling with her braid as she talks. She looks surprisingly pensive, despite her efforts to hide it. After what feels like minutes, though was likely only seconds, she gives a couple of quick nods before tapping the phone to hang up. With that, she shoves her phone back in her bag with a sigh before returning to us.
Well?
She's not coming either.
Tanya and I let out a long sigh. After all that build-up, this whole thing's a bust.
Should we head out on our own then?
Millie smiles a sad smile.
Maybe another time. I won't drag you two in there. It's not much of a club outing if half the club isn't here.
I debate pushing back, if for no other reason than to soothe my guilt, but Tanya perks up before I get the chance, swiping away at her phone. Oh. Tanya flashes her screen at the two of us triumphantly, offering us salvation through a silent declaration. The usual spot. 24/7 happy hour, oh boy. Midweek specials? Not quite what I was imagining.
It's not even 10.
Adorable.
Should've.
Sure, why not?
I can only stare in stunned silence at Millie's response. She's quick to notice, giving me a sheepish laugh.
I mean, I wasn't super optimistic about today anyway, if I'm being honest.
Oh.
No point in getting too worked up about it. This sounds as good a backup plan as any.
Millie turns to her car, eager to get going and break eye contact. Needing no further prompting, Tanya practically skips over, crawling over the passenger seat in the back.
Should I drop you back off at your apartment, or will you be joining us? No pressure.
No pressure, she says, waiting patiently by her door, smiling wide. No pressure! No pressure. With a sigh, I start making my way toward the passenger side door. I mean, why not? It can't hurt. Drink! After dark. The warm hum of people chattering and glasses clinking fills the air, each of us sitting on our stools before the counter. Oh. I feel a little like a fish out of water here, but seeing Millie and Tanya casually chatting between themselves helps things feel a bit more comfortable. Oh. At the very least, it's definitely not a place you'd catch me alone. But going there with two other people who are low-key and feel like they belong there. That is cute. That is cute. In hand, a cheap beer. One largely inoffensive as far as taste goes. The sheer variety of alcohol to try is a bit intimidating, so I decided to stick with what I know. Tanya's grabbed a simple beer as well, while Millie sips on some bright blue concoction.
Looks intense.
Oh, a smile.
It's not. I just drink it for the flavor.
No shame in that. I'd hope so, with how fast she's managed to empty her glass so far.
So you two are regulars?
Regulars makes it sound like we come here all the time.
I mean, Tanya's awkward face doesn't go unnoticed. No. I think this is the second bar I've ever been to, but it seems like a comfortable place. Beneath old photos of the town on the wood-trimmed walls, the patrons all look clean-cut and on the younger side. Maybe that's the appeal for Millie and Tanya. They fit the scene well. In the end, it's just a bunch of people relaxing, which is how it should be. The prices aren't bad either. Or, I don't think they are. I don't have much of a frame of reference. I'm glad Millie's mood has improved, but I can't help but stress at least a little about our current situation. Given why I joined the club in the first place, this isn't exactly a stellar second impression.
So,
I start without really thinking, drawing Millie and Tanya's eyes to me.
You didn't seem that surprised about the attendance today.
That's about as tame as I could have worded that. Millie's face flattens before I get the opportunity to pat myself on the back, though.
This may surprise you, but Heather isn't consistent.
You don't say.
Oh. Tanya punctuates that with a snort.
And, well, I know you're friends, so please don't take this the wrong way, but Darren's a new recruit. I don't have much of a read on him yet.
I don't drink, so I almost never frequent such places. You almost always feel especially out of place as a teetotaler. Yeah, same here, Lilac. Same here. I do not drink either, so the only time I really go to a place like this is when I'm like with family. Usually my mom and my sister. And it usually ends up exactly like in this CG, with me in the middle between them. They know what they're doing. They're more regular at a place like this than I ever was. And at most, try something that they're getting. But yeah, that's about the extent of my drinking experience. I know those eyes Tanya is making. Those are their eyes. Those eyes are the ones of mischief. She knows. She knows.
I think you're really overestimating how close we are.
Oh, really? When you walked in together, I just assumed you invited a tag-along.
Nope. We talked a bit and shared a few classes in high school, but that's as far as it ever went, really. Just a really weird coincidence.
Speaking of, one of the weirdest, uncanny experiences I've ever had, accompanying my mom and sister to a bar, or in this case a winery, was just encountering two people who worked at this particular place who were like, hey, Don, you remember us? We went to high school together. And I'm just looking back at these two guys that worked there, just like, I don't, but how's it going? Yeah, I totally remember you. Oh God. What is happening to time? I'm melting here. I'm encountering people who recognize me from high school, but I don't remember them because, oh, the pain. Because part of me is blocked out to a lot of my high school experience for reasons outside of school experience. Unwanted high school reunions are never fun. Oh God. It's like, I'm shocked that anyone remotely remembers me. I blocked out a lot of that time. It's me when I met one of my friends for his birthday. Didn't recognize him due to the difference in hairstyle. Oh, that's... Yeah, depending on the amount of time there, Hairstyle different, that could be dramatic, but unwanted high school reunions are never fun. Honestly. That being said, it does feel weird to have Darren miss something like this already when he was supposedly staking out the club before I was. I mean, if Darren is probably down for the club atmosphere, but not the social atmosphere. That's also a relatable mood. Down for the club work, but not necessarily the socially getting out of the club and doing normal human things together outside of campus. I can see Darren balking at that a little bit. Ran into a few high school acquaintances while walking around the city I live, and I basically ended up fleeing, preventing them from seeing me due to lack of preparedness. Oh, I feel that. I feel that so much, Lilac. Although I guess my problem is I don't recognize them, but I guess my problem in my circumstance is that I didn't recognize them. They recognized me. Oh God. I'm so sorry. The three of us sit on that for a minute. None of us quite sure where to take the conversation from there.
Ugh, those two are a pain in the ass.
Tanya?
Well, it's not like I'm innocent either.
I shouldn't really have done, just panicked. Again, that's an understandable reaction, though. That's a natural... It's a fight or flight it's a flight reflex. Completely relatable. Completely understandable.
Go on.
I'm just here because I need the help to pass my English course. I don't have a creative bone in my body.
Huh? Is that all it is?
You sound disappointed.
As opposed to Millie, who just looks disappointed. Oh, sorry, Millie.
It was gonna be something saucier.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. There's not a saucy bone in my body either.
I love the way you said that.
Well, for what it's worth, I appreciate you coming out today anyway.
Millie smiles, but I don't need my glasses to see how strained it is. Tanya must pick up on it too, signaling down the barkeep to refill her friend's drink. Barkeep, another!
I'd appreciate you not trying to get her driver drunk before noon.
Tanya doesn't bother to offer me anything past a roll of her eyes and a smirk. Tanya knows exactly what she's doing. Millie looks down on her mostly empty glass, her smile softening to one decidedly more genuine.
Sure. What harm could one more round do?
God, I gotta feel bad for Millie. A new round of drinks arrives, and Tanya orders the table some bar food to soak up the alcohol I'm so worried about, she teases. As Millie and Tanya laugh together, chatting about some movie I've never heard of or a teacher they have together, something feels a bit off. When the conversation lulls, I catch a glance of Millie looking down at her drink, brow furrowed and lips pursed. But when Tanya pipes up again, it disappears, but never quite completely. I try to shake the feeling. I don't know Millie that well to analyze her behavior, and don't even know what I'd say if I could. Whatever it's worth, Tanya's able to keep pulling back Millie from whatever depths of thoughtfulness she keeps digging into, even if she needs alcohol to do it. I feel like Tanya's just here to support someone she genuinely cares about in Millie. Time passes quickly. Before I know it, it's been over an hour since we got here. I leave some cash for my order and a tip before excusing myself. As opposed to Heather, who's just there to be, well, a prick and pass time. Millie has been handling herself well, looking alert and sober since switching to soda a bit earlier. I still decline when she offers me a ride back, though. Stepping into the frigid air in daylight, I have to squint to see. The overcast sky from this morning has been replaced with a typical sunny afternoon. With nothing more to do, I head back to my apartment. Hopefully I'll still be able to do something productive today. One week later. I'm really concerned about Millie. So I know we're just in this for the grades, but I want to commit to the club. And at least in the case where I managed to avoid being seen, no real harm was done, but it might have really hurt the feelings of the one I ran away from. I mean... Okay, yeah. But still. Millie's handwriting reads more like an alien language as I squint and concentrate to make out her sentences. What if started as cursive has devolved into a scrawl, as if the pen were desperately trying to keep up with her train of thought?
What's all this?
Editor's notes.
Uh-oh.
Do you have them in English?
With my story writing complete, Millie decided it best to go over things in more detail after the club. The outdoor seating was also her idea, even if the small tables make trying to sift through this mess even more of a hassle. Given how extensive her notes are, any optimism I may have had has been quickly dashed. I know you can't expect perfection immediately, but even if the professor was half as thorough as Millie, it'd still pretty handily be a failing mark. Hey, it's sad for her to be more alone in her passion like that, true. She seems more isolated than she at first appears. Yeah. Like, our club consists of Darren, who's there just for the writing aspect of it, is still struggling to adjust and open up himself. Olive, who's here for the grade and struggling to open up themselves too. Heather, who's there just to be there and just to take up space and kill time. Doesn't actually want to be there, but she just wants to kill time and put it on her transcript, I guess. And Tanya, who's literally the only one. Tanya is just there to support Millie on a personal level, and might not actually be that interested in creative writing, which is probably still gnawing away at Millie. But Millie is going through it. Slouching into my uneven seat, I rock it back and forth as I mull my situation over. Cups of coffee steam away on the table between us, and Millie's bright face watching my own. Oof. Olive, time for your lesson about editor's notes. This is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. The feedback is incredible. It's a lot to take in. It's probably harsh to get marked up a ton, but it's the best possible thing that could happen to you in this endeavor, Olive. It's been a week since the failed outing. A couple of club meetings happening since then. If she's annoyed or sad about what happened, she hasn't shown it. Even now, she smiles widely while waiting for a response to her writing critique. It's only made the charade of the writing club meetings all the weirder. Just another week of everyone silently ignoring the elephant in the room, that nobody actually cares about any of this. I take up my cup of coffee and try to think over my writing.
That's the look of concentration I wanted to see. I knew you'd get into this. What's on your mind?
Nothing you want to hear.
Oh.
Try me.
That these glasses are giving me a headache.
You said try you, and they did. Pout. Millie pouts as I grumbled myself, but it soon gives way to a small giggle.
I promise you contacts are worse, but you do what you gotta do to maintain appearances. Now, how about we get back on track?
Recognizing that my attempts at avoiding this for any further have been thoroughly squashed, I returned to Millie's notes with a sigh.
Almost everything here is covered in corrections and fixes. Actually, I think you've written more than I did in the first place. I appreciate the effort you're putting in, but man, it's hard to stay optimistic about this. What chance do you think I have here, honestly?
And it's an understandable reaction, though, Olive.
Are you going to do a second draft with all the notes?
Well, sure. I won't be starting from scratch, so this should be doable by next week's meeting.
Then you'll be fine.
Yeah. Wow, she sold her confidence really well, considering how much of a non-answer that was. It feels like I'm doing the bare minimum. This is all any of the others should be doing. Think about it like that, I start getting annoyed. After taking a sip of her drink, Millie takes her little worn notebook and adds something in her hurried handwriting. Perhaps a note about her tutoring or an idea for her own writing. As she finishes, she notices my glancing.
Keeping a notebook handy means I can quickly jot down my thoughts when inspiration strikes. You should try it. I think it'd really help you.
Don't know how much use I'd get out of a notebook filled with nothing but bad ideas.
My bad ideas, not
Bad ideas are fine. Most of my notebook is junk I never end up using. But the few diamonds in the rough, sometimes even just a few words, can be enough to build on. Maybe it'll help you get into a creative mindset, too.
Millie may well be right. She probably is. That doesn't mean I feel any sort of connection to what she's saying. It's like receiving a lengthy and thought-out lecture in clear and precise terms, all perfectly delivered in hieroglyphics. A powerful sentence. I will give her that she has the patience of a saint to be helping me like this. She seems to enjoy the chance to talk about the mechanics of writing with someone who cares, even if it's only out of necessity.
So, what are you trying to say with all this?
Think of it like art. Instead of trying to make a gallery-worthy portrait off the bat, you're sketching out rough ideas to try different concepts from different angles.
Not the first example I'd expect to come to her mind, given the circumstances.
You don't even have to show anyone. Just try describing an interesting person. Plot out a fun scene in a movie, or emulate an interesting passage you saw in a book. I think that's where you're getting tripped up. Trying to write full stories right from the start without being comfortable with the act of writing itself. Without a solid foundation, the whole building falls apart.
And how long am I gonna be doing these sketches?
It's not a matter of, like, training. I mean, it's a matter of training, but...
As long as you're writing, of course. It's a critical part of the process, no matter how experienced you are.
I'll always be doing that. Always be doing the sketches and stuff. The more you get comfortable with it, the more you can commit to a bigger project and building a bigger story from the ground up. But even then, keep doing sketches and blurbs and stuff and shorts. That was the big thing we picked up on in my creative writing class, working on shorts. Shorter than short fiction. Unable to contain my excitement, I drink the rest of my increasingly lukewarm coffee. As dispirited as I might feel from her feedback, at least it's a sense of direction. I'm not left wallowing in misery, even if I don't make it in the end. Looking up at her face brimming with excitement at the prospect of making meaningless scraps of writing over and over for weeks and months ahead, can't help but feel out of place next to her. It isn't just her either. Darren's ability to scrawl away about esoteric subjects even as a freshman still taunts me. Even Heather seems comfortable jotting down this and that to keep our studious leader off her back.
Hey, Millie?
Yes?
I know I'm at least partially to blame, and I really appreciate it, but... how do you find so much energy to devote to this? Writing in general, I mean.
The question takes her a little off guard, breaking through her lecturing attitude as she thoughtfully sets down her drink.
Why write, huh? I suppose that I could say something corny, like creativity brings out the best in people, or something. Spin some tale about the power of the great author's writings, opening one's mind and taking us on wild adventures.
I'm waiting for the bite.
I'm getting there. My earliest memories are of my mother reading to me. We read a lot together, even as I grew up. Maybe it's a little selfish, but I wanted to hold on to that feeling. Maybe even share that sense of companionship with others, making our own personal connections through reading and writing together.
Oh.
That's what this club is supposed to be. A place for individuals to get together and offer each other glimpses into themselves to maybe find a speck of common interest to nurture and grow. Or, well, that's what I thought.
It hurts a little to see her wistful smile slowly fade, reality seeping in through the cracks in her carefully maintained idealism.
I guess it didn't quite work out that way.
Oh. It was heavier than I'd expected, but question intended to simply fill the air.
Well, no reason why it still can't be.
Feels like there's a noticeable... like, her eyes noticeably dull when her expression saddens like that. I guess she was expecting something more defeatist from me, given the surprise on her face.
No, of course. Thanks for the reminder.
It's hard to tell if there's an actual, like, visual cue of it, or if just the affect of her expression changing there brings that out of her. But either way, it's still really well done.
For what it's worth, I'm glad you managed to find a hobby that means so much to you.
We all have our vices.
That we do. Taking my coffee in one hand, I grab my backpack from the ground and sling it over my shoulder as I rise to my feet.
Where are you off to?
Much as I'd love to stay and talk more, I also like being able to pay rent, so I'm off to the diner for the evening shift. See you tomorrow, Millie. Oh, and sorry about the grumbling. Just haven't found my footing yet. I'll have a proper look over your notes when I get home and start working on a second draft.
It's no problem. Make sure you buy a notebook sometime. A proper one. Spoil yourself. I'm sure it'll help.
Yeah, spoil yourself, Olive. You deserve it. As usual, this doesn't take her long. Doesn't take long for her to bounce back. At least we're not pouting on a sad note. Then I give her a curt wave and start off out of the cafe. Can't say today was this exactly productive. I suppose I should count myself lucky that Millie's taking this tutoring seriously. Hey, it's another thing. It doesn't always have to be productive. Just any little bit of progress helps. Looking back, I see Millie taking her notebook in hand to take yet more notes for herself. Wonder if anyone else gives it much thought. I for one appreciate her passion.
Death comes for me.
Oh no.
Oh, don't be so dramatic.
Hi, Mom. She flicks my back with a hand towel, but I barely flinch. I've had some long days here, but tonight was crazy even by our standards. I shouldn't complain. A lot of people my age can't even get a job, and having my mom around does make things better. I get along fine with the other staff, too. Though we rarely actually share a shift. Still can't bring myself to eat burgers, though. I have to make them one after another for hours on end every shift. Mom visibly reassesses her snark after I push myself off the counter and look up to her. Guess I'm not hiding the exhaustion well. Not like I was really trying to.
Thanks for your work, dear. It was a rough day, but you got through.
Death comes for us. Death awaits.
I'm going to sleep forever when I get home.
I don't know about forever, but you've earned yourself a good rest.
Thanks, Mom. She looks at me for a moment before shuffling herself into a booth, patting the seat next to her. Eager for an excuse to rest my feet, I oblige.
Are you okay, Ollie?
I'm fine. Just tired.
No point in complaining to her. It's not like Mom can change anything. When I think about it, I think most of my problems come down to feeling like I have no control over my life right now. God, if that's just a mood. Hello, August. Ma'am, may I please receive one hug to make life better? Please, Miss August. With so few cooks and Mom already overworked, I have to fill in when I can at the diner. Then there's the fact that all my time between sleep, school, and work is filled with frantic studying just to keep up with the others in my classes.
How is school going? You said that you joined a new club, right?
Yeah, the writing club. It's a bit weird, but at least it'll help me get the credits I need.
I trust Millie.
A bit weird?
They show up whenever they feel like it and barely even pretend to work while they're around. The supervising professor doesn't bother attending at all while the leader is... well, she tries her hardest. I wish I had an ounce of the passion she has, whether for writing or anything else. It'd make this a lot easier.
Sounds like she's an admirable person.
Honestly, yeah, she is.
She is. That's what bugs me.
Oh?
You think she's being taken advantage of?
Ah.
Yeah. Everyone shows up, but doesn't bother putting in any effort. She must know that, but she just smiles through it.
I think that's what bothered me so much about her tutoring. Am I taking advantage of her enthusiasm like the others? The only reason I'm in the club's to pass my exams, after all. As I think to myself, I notice a familiar smile on Mom's face. The same she gave me as a child whenever she saw through a petty lie. Whenever she saw what I was actually saying.
I'm sure she'd be happy to see you care so much.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Busted.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I have a future in writing after all, with how easily I apparently am to read.
Either way, it sounds to me like the club being all on the same page would help the both of you out quite a bit.
Do you think I should be doing something about it?
That's for you to figure out. You know best. All I'm saying is that sometimes doing things we're not used to is a good thing. Life would be awfully boring if we all stayed the same our whole lives, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, I almost forgot. If you need any time off work for club things, just tell me. I'm sure I can pull some strings.
Thanks, Mom. Love you. I cringe a little at her overacted wink. Wink, wink, wink. You know the exact wink. I've no doubt Mom's doing what she thinks is best for me, but I couldn't possibly ask that of her. She's already run off her feet just to make ends meet. Not that she'd tell me so. There's an unwritten understanding between us that we're both in this together. Writing might not come naturally to me, but I guess I owe it to Millie to do what I can for the club. It feels wrong to use it to pass my exams, then bounce and leave them to their fate. Somehow it feels like an even steeper slope to climb than all the other stresses in my life right now. Ooh, to my side, a couple plastic bags shift together as I walk. By some miracle, the half-dozen hearty muffins somehow survive the bike trip over. Muffins. It's not often that I get the chance to cook for others outside of work, though my motivations aren't exactly pure. If Millie's optimism can't get people interested in the club, then maybe outright bribery will. Coming to the door, I can already hear Millie's muffled lecturing. Taking a breath to summon what little energy I have at this time of day, take the door handle in hand and swing it open. Millie moves to welcome me in, but she trails off in confusion as her gaze falls to the bag by my side. Tanya beams with a grin and, with one arm around the back of her chair, contrasting to the stiff and overly formal Darren, Heather is not here. It's not the first time she's outright skipped, so not the biggest surprise. The Natsuki method. Confirmed. The cursory greeting, I drop the bag on the table and roll down the sides, plucking out several large plastic containers and popping open their lids. Oh wow. Whoa. The sweet smell rises from the food, despite having been baked in the morning. Everyone gathers around, their eyes sparkling as I finish unpacking the rest of my morning's efforts. Whoa. Delight. If they took half as much interest in the clubs they did in this, we'd be in business.
Olive, what? Did you get lost on the way to the baking club or something?
Says the woman in her mechanic jumpsuit. Cooking and baking is a bit of a hobby, so I just figured I'd bring some stuff in as all.
Hey, yeah.
Well, no complaints here.
Take what you like. I didn't bring these in for show and tell. Just have them while you're writing or whatever.
I hope I don't sound ungrateful for asking, but what's the occasion?
We love sparkly Millie. We love happy Millie.
Well, you know...
I have no idea how to word this in a way that isn't tinged with pessimism.
The club's had a rough start this semester. I figured something like this might improve the mood a bit and get people motivated is all.
Thankfully, it looks like that answer is more than acceptable as Millie's initial shock melts into a smile.
That's really sweet. Thank you.
Not the first time I've seen her smiling, but something about it this time, combined with her tone, feels considerably more genuine than before. The sincerity of it is enough to make me look away before I start blushing. Aww. With no need for further prompting, the feeding frenzy begins as multiple hands dive in at once for this treat and that. The single chocolate-flavored muffin rescued for myself. Heading to my usual desk to get back onto Millie's editing notes, I turn around to see the club members chatting away between themselves. Millie delicately tries to catch the crumbs with a hand below her chin, while Darren's technique consists mostly of taking small nibbles of it at a time. Tanya, meanwhile, shows no such restraint, as I would expect from her. was hoping people would take my while you're writing suggestion to heart, but the club ended up looking more like a party instead. At least Millie seems to be happily chatting away, so I'm fine calling it a small victory. Maybe I should make the most of the social atmosphere, especially since I'm going to be around these people for a while yet. Oh. Oh, party time. To her own beat. Thank you. Muffin? Me too, Tanya. Me too. Honestly. I kind of want to go for Tanya. What do you think? Dang, that's your boy Darren. I mean... This is a... Although, I guess... I'm making the executive decision to hang out with Tanya because I want to get to know Millie's friend. Man getting left on unread. On second glance, it appears Tanya's inhaled most of her first muffin. Chocolate chip by the looks of it, enjoying a questioning look from her friend as I walk over.
Why? I skipped lunch today.
Didn't your mother tell you not to talk with your mouth full?
Good thing my mother isn't here right now, huh?
You could at least chew it before trying to shove it down your throat. I guess I should take it as a compliment.
You work at a diner, right, Olive? I'm surprised to hear you've picked up cooking as a hobby outside of that.
Cooking at home is an entirely different experience than working the menu at the diner. So I don't really feel the burnout you might expect.
Just don't ask for burgers and fries.
It's good you found something you like so much. A lot of people struggle to find that kind of niche in life.
It's a surprisingly positive spin on just doing something because it's all I really know. For all I admire that kind of outlook, I can't help but wonder where it's truly gotten her. The contrast to that perfectly organized room to the club members latching onto the first distraction they found couldn't be clearer. Thinking better of outright saying that, I decided to address something I've been noticing for a while.
Hey, speaking of interests and hobbies, what's with the get-up anyway, Tanya? I'm just realizing I never asked.
Tanya looks down, her well-used overalls ill-fitting compared to the otherwise smart clothes of the rest.
Oh, these? I have a welding class just before the club meets. Not much point changing out of them, so I just chuck the welding gear in the truck and hop back over.
Oh, that tracks.
Weren't you wearing them during the bookstore visit?
They're also really comfortable.
It's a matter of efficiency.
Relatable. Understandable, Tanya.
Uh-huh.
Always liked fiddling with metal and mechanical stuff back home, so I ended up taking all the relevant courses I could.
You two sure are different.
Maybe not as much as you think.
Been a set since high school. Met as the only two girls in the auto shop class.
I mean, fair. Millie was working on cars with her. So, Millie does have that experience going for her, which is an unexpected hobby of hers. But cool, nonetheless. I could not handle a car. I could not process, I will just put this way. One time in high school, I took the ASVAB exam for reasons not great reasons, but it has a section on it which deals with like mechanical stuff, like car mechanics and general mechanical stuff. That's the one section that I fucking bombed in the worst way. Everything else I nailed, but I could not tell apart a car part to save my life. I just pop open the hood of a car and just say, "Yep, that sure is a car. That sure is a car engine. That sure is the powerhouse of the car. Makes the car go vroom vroom." That is, I'm woeful there. I'm just processing this sentence. Once again, it's easy to imagine Tanya getting sucked into the engine of a car with this tool or that as she fiddles under the hood. But Millie's a surprise. My face must say as much, given Millie's sudden sheepishness.
I have my reasons. Besides, it's nice to get my head out of books sometimes.
That's fair. Ah. When she said she'd been working on her car with her dad, I guess I didn't imagine it quite so hands-on. Yeah, usually characters rarely change their clothes, but doesn't get alluded to after all. The engine is the powerhouse of the car. I'm also blanking on the, how that tune actually goes. I should look that up sometime. With her first buffeted hour, Tanya goes back for seconds as Millie continues to, occasionally nibble at her first. Seems to like them just as much, enjoying them in her own dainty way. Oh, Donna getting sucked into an engine, I mean,
I had a lot of
fair.
food here. Why'd you make so many different flavors?
Why not?
Didn't know what you guys would like. Besides, muffins are easy because you can throw in whatever's handy for flavoring. Chocolate chips, cocoa, fruits, that sort of thing.
Like muffins and sugar cookies are, like muffins and sugar cookies are fairly easy to like have a base recipe that you can take in several different directions based on simple flavorings and the like, simple flavorings, add-ins and the like. So it's really handy for variety there.
The others seem to like them too. It's good to see everyone chatting like this.
All, two of them, we're not gonna go there.
Have to admit, it's different than when you do it for a job. After a while, you forget how nice it is to watch people enjoy the food you've made for them, and having a good time while eating together.
It isn't long before Darren says his goodbyes, pushing the last chunk of his muffin into his mouth with his thumb on the way out. As Tanya sees him off, she looks back.
So, the big question. Who gets the rest?
Go get him, girl. Have at it. Go wild. We end up getting through about half of them by the looks of it, even with Darren and Tanya's appetites not being up to the task. I do appreciate Billy looking to me first for an answer.
I can make more anytime. You guys decide between yourselves.
Me? You? Okay, twin. You. What's your preferred muffin flavor? In the chat, what's your preferred muffin flavor? There can be only one.
Rock, paper, scissors?
Oh. Oh no. That's Merc. Going by how fast Millie agrees and takes up position, this must be a normal way of sorting out disagreements between the two. Their faces look oddly scary, given how low stakes this is. Chocolate chip? An excellent choice. Jan Kin Pun. Without a word of communication, they begin the rounds, apparently being best 2 out of 3, going by so fast I can barely keep track. Jan Kin Pun. Graceful in victory, winning the final round with paper goes to Tanya's rock. Millie silently grins ear to ear as Tanya sighs.
Such is life. See you guys later.
Just let me get my Oreo flavor ice cream. Ooh. That's a good choice, too. See, Twin, how about this? Oreo-flavored ice cream on top of a fresh, gooey brownie. A sulking Tanya wanders out while scratching her head, Millie waving her off as she goes.
I'm alright to clean up by myself. You can go if you want.
Thanks. Sorry for turning the meeting into this.
Millie's powerful.
You hardly need to apologize. It's nice to see everyone enjoying themselves in the club.
You know what would be fun? Killing me with a good time over here. Heck yeah. That's exactly the intention. Get dunked on with tasty treats. Muffins with a caramel. Ooh. Caramel filling. That's a unique challenge there. You almost have to have like little. I've seen that done before with like big. I've seen them do like Nutella stuff, peanut butter stuff. I just like grab a big glob of it, roll it into a ball, freeze it, and then when you like put it in a cookie, you just shape cookie dough around the frozen ball of Nutella or peanut butter or whatnot. Put it on the tray, bake it, and then it comes out, spreads, and then you have a Nutella-filled or a peanut butter-filled cookie. That sort of filled process there. And then, suppose you could do the same thing in a muffin. I've never tried that before, but I imagine it'd be similar. But probably a bit more difficult, since with a muffin, if you do the same thing there, like muffin batter does not, typically not nearly as solid as a cookie batter, so run the risk of your filling potentially sinking to the bottom of your muffin there too, and creating a bit of a mess. But then again, that might just be me not being at that skill level yet, but would be amazing if I could figure out how to do it properly. A caramel center of a muffin. I've been baking like proper full-size muffins lately, and you can't go wrong with full-size muffins with getting the top and sides all nice and brown. That brown exterior, that brown and crispy, firm, crispy exterior and fluffy interior. That you can't go wrong with a good, hot muffin. And just general caramel flavor too. Caramel chunks. Yes. Like that you can't go wrong with there. It'd be cool to do like a caramel apple muffin. Diced apple, caramel chunks. I feel like that'd be a good combination. Do sometime here. We are gushing about I'm getting entirely too into this. I kind of want to bake something.
I really appreciate this, Olive.
You're only saying that because you ended up with all the leftovers.
That's a genuine smile from Olive. I deserve that pouting. You know what? It's rare enough to see Olive give a genuine smile like that. You know, that meant a lot to them. By the time I'm finally out the door, sunset's already rolled in. Given that riding in the dark makes me nervous, I start on the path to the bike rack with no detours. Oh, hey! That urgency doesn't last long, with a familiar orange jacket out of the corner of my eye stopping me in my tracks.
Oh, hey.
She has headphones on. What am I even doing? Headphones off. Reaching up to take them off, it looks like Haley noticed me before I could collect myself and pretend nothing happened. And try as I might to get a read on her, I just can't do it. That face of hers is inhumanly placid.
Sup?
Yo, girl. She approaches me.
Just saying hi. What are you listening to?
Oh, you're approaching me, Tanya. Haley, sorry. She takes the headphones from around her neck and offers them to me without a word. All the more curious, I dutifully take them and, after a moment to brush my hair back, hold them to my ears for a quick listen. Is this what you're listening to, Haley? If so, I dig it. That's about all the reaction I can muster to the tune. I'm not even sure why I asked. Music is totally out of my usual wheelhouse. Well, the froyo I had today was 3 layers of cheesecake, peanut butter, and pump. Oh, 3 layers of cheesecake, peanut butter, and pumpkin, with cheesecake bits and strawberry bursting boba. Oh my god. That sounds amazing. Cheesecake, peanut butter, pumpkin. Cheesecake bits, strawberry. Strawberry bursting boba. Oh. That sounds amazing. Oh. It's 11:15, and all this talk of baked goods and ice cream is making me hungry. That is not good. But worth it. That sounds amazing. Left none the wiser, I give up and pass the headphones back to their owner. The item slung around her neck in a smooth and practiced movement. He quickly picks up my nonplussed expression.
They're good for tuning things out, at least.
I mean, fair.
What do you think about when you're alone in those headphones?
That's an unexpectedly deep question. Best $10 I spent today, better than the scam my car dealership ran me out of. Ooh. Car dealerships in general are the worst. About the late night munchies. Heck yeah.
Stuff. This and that.
That's that, and this is this. She just shrugs, as much to me as to her, as her own inability to give a meaningful answer.
So, I hear you're in the writing club now.
Apparently so.
Yeah, apparently.
Apparently.
Well, now that you're officially part of this, try not to worry much about the arguments between those two. If either of them give you any trouble, just give me a yell.
We haven't really encountered Caprice much since.
It's not really a big deal. Sometimes people just don't get along.
Unless there's something more to this. As she goes silent, I find myself wondering if she agrees, or if I've said something wrong. I have a feeling I'm going to be left wondering, too.
I assume you're not following us home?
Sorry?
Huh?
Considering you stopped me in front of Millie's car.
No. As Haley points behind me, all I can do is give an intensely awkward chuckle to try and laugh it off. Not your best moment, Olive.
Oops. Sorry. No, just on my way to pick up my bike.
Mother got me some wireless headphones a couple years ago, and now I wear them whenever I'm at my house or hers, and usually don't hear what people are saying to me. So Haley's pretty relatable. That's understandable. One of these days I want to get myself a proper pair of over-ear wireless headphones like Haley's wearing. The sort of thing that'd be good to have around work, instead of dealing with lots of... I have an old headset I use at work, but it's wired, and dealing with wires gets annoying after a while, so, you know. I like to listen to music, but I hate to do it within the hearing of other people. Yeah. She doesn't react one way or another, leaving me no indication as to whether or not she accepted that.
Here I was, thinking I'd picked up a stray cat.
I mean, Olive is very much a stray cat energy.
See you later. Hope the club works out for you.
She brings her headphones back over her head. Done with our conversation. That's more than fine with me. Getting on my way, my pace a little faster than before to escape the situation. I do still like Haley, though. She's wonderfully chill. Perhaps too chill. A few days later.
This is the end for me.
I groan. scribbling out an entire paragraph of frustration before just crumpling the paper in defeat. Any other time in my life, I may have accepted the admittedly mediocre work I'd been struggling over for the past 3 hours. Unfortunately, I can't. Especially not here, where from my spot in the corner of the diner, I can see Mom rushing to and fro to fill a giant to-go order that came in during her lunch break. She practically wrestled me back to the seat when I tried to help her. The very least I should do while I'm here is write a good paper, I thought, but no such luck. I could barely get a full sentence down before second-guessing it. It's supposed to be a simple creative exercise, analyzing 2 short stories and creating our own in the same style.
What does analyze even mean? If he'd said critique, at least I could just complain.
Oh, now we're in the school zone here.
Oh, is that grumbling I hear?
Millie! That's a relatable noise. Millie peeks over my shoulder for a moment before giggling at my surprise, sliding in the seat across from me. I should be embarrassed at all the drafts scattered across the table. Instead, I barely grimace as she gingerly pushes some of the crumpled papers aside.
I see you have your work cut out for you already, huh?
My torture, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Luckily for you, I'm here to rescue you.
Humming to herself triumphantly, she pulls a tote bag upright, rummaging around the contents inside. Notebook! He pulls 2 notebooks out with a theatrical ta-da gesture, waving them in front of her face.
Notebooks?
Not just any notebooks. Take a look.
In one hand, a bright pink one labeled Notes is adorned with all manner of sticky notes, bookmarks, and scrap papers sticking out from it. The other is more plain, black without eye-catching material besides a sticker of a cat. Wary, I take the pink one and begin flipping through it. Every page is a neat header, date, and notes from top to bottom. Most of them have a works cited section, naming the textbook and relevant story. Oh. Wow. In all, it looks like a teacher's assistant cheat sheet for the entire class. Detailed, easy to navigate, and an even better resource than the textbook itself. Oh my god, she's just straight up giving us the notes. Her notes for her class, yeah. Notebook at the notebook. Look at the notebook.
What? How did you get this?
These are mine.
What do you mean?
I took them.
Which professor did you steal it from? I won't tell.
You're flattering me. They're my notes from the semester. I took that class already, remember?
No way. My face must betray the accurate amount of awe and a healthy amount of alarm because she quickly laughs and takes a notebook, closing it.
Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't bother being so meticulous if it was anything but writing. But since I was running the club, I really wanted them to stand the test of time. I do want them back, but...
She timidly plays with her braid for a moment, looking a bit sheepish.
Well, the class is pretty front-heavy on essay work. You can use them as reference if you ever feel lost or need inspiration.
I don't know what to say. Just, obviously... Thank you. Really. I owe you.
Please, it's fine.
She pauses as the bell to the restaurant rings, a customer hopping up to the front and collecting their bags upon bags of takeout. As they leave, the smell of fresh pressed paninis and fries follows. Love a good panini. Love a good panini.
Well, actually, if you could cook something for me again, that may be a fair trade. I've been daydreaming about those muffins.
Oh-ho.
If I pass this next round of papers, I'll make you a full course meal.
It's a deal. You better not fail on purpose to weasel out of it.
If only I had the luxury. Millie scoots back out of the booth, pulling up her tote and adjusting her vest.
Well, I'm off. Junebug needs an oil change.
Junebug!
Your mom, you're in good hands.
Junebug.
Sure, take it. Wait, you know my mom?
She gives a smug, sparkling smile and accentuates it with a little shrug.
You look like her. And when I came in, she couldn't stop boasting about how proud she is of her kids sitting in the back working non-stop on their college papers.
I sink into my seat, feeling heat rush to my face. In the corner of my eye, I see Millie give my mom a big wave, who returns it in kind.
Right. Thanks.
Oh, you're so dramatic. You should feel lucky to have such a doting mom.
It's more about how openly she'll air out my struggles to strangers. But yeah.
Millie laughs a bit and shakes her head, taking her leave without further ado. It's that warm sort of embarrassment and shame, the good kind. The wholesomely embarrassing your kid in public. That's the right a good mother has. Millie laughs a bit and shakes her head, taking her leave without further ado. When the bell chimes to signify your exit, I heave a giant sigh and slump entirely in the booth. The second notebook sits across from me at the table, untouched. I drag it over to my side and flip open the first page. A bright pink sticky note immediately catches my eye, so I sit back up straight to read it. Hang in there!
I'll try.
The other pages are filled with mistakes. First drafts, forgotten ideas, paragraphs that forget their meaning halfway through. Far from anything I'd seen Millie show in public before. I flip open my own notebook and begin my first draft again. Oh. A few days later. It's really charming. Walk up through the streets, my plastic bag ruffling away in hand. I check my phone for directions. I catch the time as well. It's 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm right on time. Paper went well enough. A solid B+, which means I'm on the hook for a meal. The apartment's quite a hike from our own on foot, but the traffic around here is very light. The nearby buildings look well maintained, if not very modern. I eventually locate the complex entrance and make my way through the gate, finding my way outside their door not long after. Oh no, are we gonna get a Caprice sighting? Are we gonna get the full gang? We promised a meal for Millie for helping us through this paper. Are we gonna get a full roommate trio sighting? Millie, Caprice, and Haley. If so, it might be time for chaos. I give it a couple quick knocks. A second or two of silence passes before a muffled voice speaks up from inside.
Hello, who is it?
It's just me.
The click and a shunt. The lock clicks open, with the door itself following soon after.
Good afternoon, Olive. Come right in.
Roll. Otter plushie. Otter plushie. Cute. I follow the cheery woman as she walks back in, carefully closing the door behind me. Noticing the shoes stacked on the carpet beside the door, I shuffle off my own and nudge them with my feet before continuing on into the small entryway. As I scan the living room, it's clear that things have been hastily tidied up for my arrival, in the same way that a reluctant child might clean their bedroom when told to by their mother. While the floor is mostly clear, clothes have been piled up on the backs of seats and peek around bulging cupboard doors. Books, plush animals, magazines, and DVDs all lie where they were last used. The dining tables become a makeshift study area by the looks of things.
Sorry for the mess.
It's a nice looking place. It's a college living space. It's gonna happen. These things happen. This is the college life right here.
No, it's nice. Well, aside from...
I trail off as my gaze turns to the kitchenette to my left. Oh no. This kitchen is... Yep, this is a college setting. This is a college life. It so is. Unwashed dishes and glasses sit piled up in and around the sink, and jars of ingredients sit neglected on the counter. It all must have gone bad by now. That kitchen has seen better days. I start rubbing the back of my neck as the anxiety creeps in. My diner's hygiene and kitchen protocols have been drilled into me for years. It has affected me more than I thought. Food safety training? Absolutely triggered.
We're not as tidy as we could be.
Relatable. That's the college life. Some things end up, yeah, things happen.
It's not that unusual, I guess.
I'm surprised how unconvincing I made that sound.
I'll clean up before getting started. I brought some stock and rice, so I should be able to work with whatever else is here.
Oh dear.
Thank you so much. If I have one more pack of noodles, it might be the end of me.
I'm glad I came. Nobody should be living solely off of ramen.
Before you start, at least let me show you around.
Alright.
Sure, lead the way.
They're smiling more often. They're pointing out this and that, from the location of the bathroom to where Haley and Caprice's rooms are. We arrive at Millie's room as she swings open the door,
And this is my bedroom. It's a bit cramped, but you get used to it.
Oh. She's not wrong about the size. Most of the apartment space is being dedicated to the combined living room and kitchen. The amount of detail that's gone into the heck, just the Polaroids there is cute. Got mild food poisoning, which I think I gave myself the other day, so I need to pay more attention to the kitchen hygiene myself. Ooh. Food poisoning's the worst feeling. She's made good use of it, though. The bookshelf being filled to capacity and a laptop and well-used notebooks squeezed onto an old table in the corner. It's impressive that she's managed to make such a claustrophobic space feel so homely. A series of books on the shelf next to me catches my eye, and I reach out to take one of the thicker ones. The majority of her books seem to be in this style, being plain hardcovers with titles in gilded cursive, as many being non-fiction as fiction. As Millie looks back at me for comment, I realize that I probably should have asked first.
Sorry, curiosity got the better of me. I have to admit, though, child psych is a pretty niche genre.
That is a very niche genre. A dorm room that you can actually fit 2 bookshelves in? Not many can say the same. This is very clearly a dorm space made for... I have to say, it is yeah. Well, although fair, yeah. Not many can say the same. Like, there's probably a world out there where this dorm space that Millie occupies is meant to hold 2 people. And, like, bunk beds. There's probably a world out there in which that exists, so... Fortunately, it's not in this case. Looking back over this particular space on the shelf, she has quite a few books on the subject.
Looks like I've been found out.
Oh?
I want to write children's books. A lot of people think it's easy, but there's actually a lot of thought behind them.
Oh, that's actually quite sweet.
Huh. When you said you liked writing, I assumed that meant you wanted to be a novelist or something.
I wouldn't mind trying my hand at it, but children's books are where my heart is. To see a parent reading my books to their child and seeing their faces light up as they learn about the world, it might not be the most glamorous or well-paying career, but I wouldn't care if I knew I'd achieved that. Sorry, I'm rambling. We should get started on lunch, shouldn't we?
As I nod, I find myself struck by her conviction. That's, again, really pure and driven, and that's wholesome. With the pile of dirty dishes slowly starting to shrink, I managed to make good progress on the washing while Millie tidies up elsewhere in the apartment, either inspired or embarrassed by me being here. Could probably just shift some things aside and cook right now, but might as well go the whole 9 yards if she's going to as well. Uh-oh. The creaking of the door to the apartment barely reaches my ears past the noise of the running tap. Is it wrong before I see who our visitor is, poking her head around the corner? Haley! Haley just manages to keep her placid face at the side of me, taking off her ever-present headphones and setting them around her neck with practiced ease. I'm starting to wonder if she wears them to bed at this rate. She might honestly wear them to bed.
Hey, Millie! Some weirdo's broken in and is doing our dishes.
Let them finish before calling the cops.
Okay.
Hi.
Thanks. Hi.
Has Millie really stuck you on dishwashing duty?
Technically, I was here to make lunch, but there's no point in making food if there's nothing to put it on.
I'd apologize for the mess, but I assume Millie's beat me to the punch already.
Is it always like this?
We just scavenge whatever's mostly clean till we run out of plates. It's worked out fine for 2 years now.
I mean, yeah. 2 years of living like this. Can't believe I've ever had second thoughts about having my life together. As Billy comes in, Haley gives her a quick wave.
Caprice lives here too, right? Am I cooking for 3 or 4?
She's visiting her mom, so it's 3 today.
Okay, that is probably a relief. Because given that she kind of dropped off the radar a bit after we spurned the art club, Billy still comes across as annoyed at the mere mention of her. I guess the rivalry runs pretty deep.
3 it is then. Any allergies?
I'm allergic to greens.
Haley once again proves to be incredibly based. How am I supposed to tell if she's joking when she uses the deadpan voice? The only hint is Millie's unsurprised laugh. Millie signals the end of lunch as she sets her fork down. The curry I made with foraged ingredients, made extra mild at Billy's request. Turned to be a hit with the two, both of them looking satisfied with their meal.
Thanks again for that. That was amazing compared to what we usually have.
Could have been spicier.
Hey, someone.
I'll leave the recipe. You can cook some up yourself. That's exactly how you like it. First time in a while I've cooked a meal for people other than myself, so I'm glad it worked out alright.
Isn't that expensive? Living alone and all?
I've always been... what's the best word for it?
Cheap?
Frugal?
That's what I was thinking, Millie.
Let's go with frugal.
Yeah.
Only needing to cook for myself saves a lot of time. Plus, I get leftover vegetables and stuff from work that are about to expire and can't be used.
I do something similar. I save a bit by sometimes visiting bakeries just before they close for the day. They'll usually throw extra food in the bag for you that probably won't sell in time.
Neat life tips.
Do you guys actually cook much?
Apparently they also go to, like, bigger box stores. Parsimonious. Very strong word. Very strong word.
I can cook the basics.
Haley's eyes narrow. Oh no. Haley's pressing X to doubt right now.
The very basics.
Same. Rice and pasta are easy enough to throw in a pot.
I mean, yeah.
And Caprice?
Although it is very easy to botch rice.
Caprice is banned from cooking.
Ever since the egg incident, yes.
The egg incident. I may want to hear the details, but the look on their faces make it clear that this ground is best left untrodden. Conversation is interrupted by a simultaneous buzzing from mine and Millie's phones, likely from the writing club group chat. It's rare to get any sort of discussion in it, and I've admittedly been pretty bad about checking in myself. Huh? Millie, however, reaches for her phone immediately. Just as quickly, a frown forms on her face. Curiosity getting the better of me, I pull my phone out of my pocket to see for myself. Darren? Hey, sorry, I know this is the last second. I won't be at the next meeting. No reason why. Need to submit an attendance sheet to the faculty soon. Yeah, sorry, just a busy week in general. At least get your signature sometime this week. IDK, I'll try. I have a feeling we're gonna get a running plot thread of struggling to keep Darren in the group. Lamau. Hi, Heather. Thanks for giving advance warnings this time. I'm out, too. I mean, look at that icon. Look at that icon. We don't even have to get. We don't even have to put a name. We don't have to put a name to the text, and you can immediately tell this is Heather. The answer's no, but BTW before you ask. I look up to my seat. Look up from my screen to see Millie slump in her seat. Her phone buzzes again not long after, the message only making her frown more.
What's up?
It's Tanya.
Tanya, too?
Is that bad?
She said she'd get some of her friends in her machinist class to sign for Darren and Heather.
Oh no. With a long, exasperated sigh, Millie drags herself up, excusing herself to the nearby kitchen to sift through their cupboards.
Bad news?
Haley leans in closer to me, keeping her voice down while she pries.
What do you think?
She doesn't respond to my sarcasm directly, instead opting for one of those shrugs she loves so much.
Welcome to the writing club, I guess.
My head firmly meets the countertop in an over-exaggerated display of frustration. It doesn't last that long. The sharp clearing of the throat from Millie bringing my eyes back upward.
I keep this bottle hidden away in the back for special occasions. I guess they don't all need to be positive ones. Either of you interested in a glass?
This is a wine bottle and a couple of glasses on the counter, now that my head is no longer occupying the space.
When'd you get that?
Oh, well, you know.
Stress and all that.
I'll pass.
I've got a shift tonight, so I better not either.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's more than fair. ...
Mentioning it out loud reminds me to check my phone again to confirm the time. Good thing I did. I've stayed a bit longer than I had planned. I take to my feet, pushing my seat in after I'm up.
On that note, I better start making my way home to prepare. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for the meal. You're a lifesaver. Really.
No problem. I wouldn't mind doing it again sometime.
Oh, we couldn't.
Sounds like a plan. Looking forward to it.
Millie, humble, a bit shy. Oh, we couldn't ask you to do that, Oliver, dear. But Haley, enjoying the free food. Yeah, come on down.
Haley.
The bickering manages to eke a smile out of me, despite the last-second downer the club brought to our lunch. A quick wave and a couple of goodbyes, I leave the two to enjoy the rest of their day. Otter plushie, otter plushie. A few days later. Oh. Writing club time? As someone who has been in the position of a very sad friend offering drinking as a coping mechanism for the moment, both of them saying no but then dipping is almost never a good idea. Oh. Yeah. I see exactly what you're getting at, Nev. It's really actually drinking quite a bit. That is a point of consideration I have not actually considered based on 2 scenes of Millie drinking. Clearly dealing with the stress of like trying to maintain passion for the club herself when no one else around is truly giving that to the club here. It would be one thing to just say no and stay, but otherwise it just makes the one person drink more. Yeah, did not even consider the implications of that, but I can see precisely what you're getting at there. And just combine that with Haley's reaction, like seemingly legitimately surprised reaction. That short bit of conversation between Haley and Millie about just, when did you get that? And Millie's response was just, oh, you know. Millie is very clearly dealing with this stress worse than we initially thought. Anyways, we are in the machining shop. We're going to go visit Tanya. Walking into the building that houses the school machining shop, I feel a little intimidated. As unassuming as the hallway I find myself in is, lots of heavy machinery can easily be heard through the thick walls. Compared to the prim and proper science building, or homely and quaint arts and humanities building, the entire place feels rougher. Steeling myself, I take a quick peek in. More like a warehouse than a campus building, the occasional oil stain and grease splotch discolors the concrete floor. The occasional arc of light from the welding area in the back, combined with a loud whirring of nearby machinery, is quick to put me on edge. Kitchens might be dangerous places sometimes, sure, but at least I knew what everything in a kitchen does. My stomach's hurting slightly again. I hope I will end up vomiting another meal. Oh no, I hope not. Please take care, Lilac. Yeah, it's. It's having a fruity alcoholic drink after stressful days once in a while, but yeah, here's hoping for the best for Millie. It's certainly she is trying to cope with this stress. Like we now have a recurring thing of we now have a recurring thing of a club situation takes a depressing turn, and Millie, and by extension Tanya, immediately turn to something to drink. That is yeah, he's hoping for the best for Millie. Sadly, I don't think the best is what's happening at the moment. I concur. Guess it wouldn't be too strange, but still, yeah, just drink some water, take care, and hopefully it's not coming back up. Yeah, just take care, Lilac. I channel my inner Darren and close the door without another thought. I'll just try and find Tanya after class. It's not worth trying to navigate that nightmare. I wanted to have more time to talk to her before I had to head off to work, but I'd rather be 5 minutes late than try to talk over all that noise. As soon as I turn around to leave, the door opens from behind me, and out pops a student whose clothes are more oiled than cloth.
Hey, did you need anything?
Oh, if you're offering, can you see if Tanya's available to talk for a sec? It's not a big deal if she can't. If you don't know her, she's...
Oh, don't worry, I know. Give me a sec.
And with that, he's retreated back into that machine-ridden hellscape. Thankfully, it's not long before the door opens again, this time with my clubmate on the other side. Confusion on her face is replaced with a smile as she comes to realize who pulled her out of class.
Yo, Olive, what brings you here?
Hey, Millie let me know when best to catch you.
Well, here I am. So, what's up?
Just checking what happened. You missed a meeting yesterday.
Oh. The grin doesn't leave her face, but her eyebrows do raise at my answer.
You dragged me out of my class early for that?
Sorry. I told the guy it wasn't a big deal and I'd be fine with waiting.
But these things happen.
All good. It's 10 minutes till the weekend. Couldn't care less right now.
She somehow manages to find a yawn in her, despite the overwhelming noise she's presumably been in the middle of for the past 2 hours.
So, circling back to my first question, what's all this about? Afraid I'm gonna flake out on the club?
I don't know. I feel like you're probably the one most likely to stay. But it's not hard to be paranoid.
Oh shit. Sorry. Given the state of everything else?
So you're just doing your due diligence. I getcha. You don't need to worry. I'm in the club for Millie's sake. I'm stuck till she graduates and not a day less.
Well, that just confirms that the impression we got so far is that she's in this specifically to support Millie, and not in it for the actual writing part of it.
Just wrapped up in coursework I had to get finished off, that's all. I'll make it up to her.
Which is probably appreciated by Millie, but I think Millie would appreciate more having club members who are actually there to write and create. Tanya takes a seat on one of the chairs next to the door, gesturing to the seat next to her. After a long walk over here at the end of the day and dreading the bike ride that's going to be following this, I gladly take up the offer for a rest.
So, what brought you to the club anyway?
I told you before, didn't I? I need the tutoring to pass my exams.
Is that all it was? There were a lot of clubs to choose from, and that little brat was angling for you too.
I figured my best chance was in a club that was halfway normal.
Whoops.
A bit too on the nose there, Tanya.
I still can't get over how different you and Millie are.
Right?
I'm lucky to have made it out of high school alive after some of the stuff I got up to. Maybe hitching myself to a bookworm like her is what helped pull my head in a bit. What about you? I'm sure you got up to some crazy stuff in the springtime of youth.
Ollie? Nah.
I kept my head down, to be honest. I'm not really the adventurous type.
I never could have guessed, Ollie, but...
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah. My face falls flat, not helped by the hearty clap on the back in response.
Lighten up. We can't all be social butterflies.
The two of us are distracted by the professor shouting from inside the room. Clear as day through the door and all the noise within. While I'm more than happy to pretend to ignore the screaming, Tanya leans back with a wide smile on her face, reveling in it. It's not difficult in the slightest to hear every word of his tirade as he rips into a student. Their mistake appears to have been not wearing their welding mask properly, as the whole room now knows. At least they take safety seriously.
Ah, the old warhorse is at it again.
I'm starting to realize I probably shouldn't be here.
Nah, you're fine. He's a great guy once you get to know him. Just gotta stay on his good side. At least you're alright to chat with. Darren kinda keeps to himself, and I never got along with Heather.
Does anybody?
What's up with her? I don't get why she's in the club at all at this point.
It feels like spite. She just shrugs.
Something about her always bugged me. Hardly even pretends to try in the meets either.
As the seconds go by, the various noises around the room fill the air between us. It's easy enough to tell we're thinking the same thing. It sucks that things have gotten to this state. Millie does well at hiding the frustration she must hold over it, but I almost wish she'd just let it out.
Well, no point in dwelling. What's gone is gone. I just hope things turn around for her, given how life's treated her lately.
I'm not gonna get you in trouble for this, am I?
The worst he can do is yell at me as I pack up my bag, then I'm out of his hair for the weekend.
Any plans?
I don't do plans. I'm gonna kick back, veg out, and I'll work it out from there.
Based? These girls are absolutely, unmistakably, nothing alike.
So, you satisfied I'm not gonna bail out on you then?
Yeah. Sorry for bothering you. Just trying my best.
No worries. We'll get Millie through the next semester. Just trust me.
We're on the same team here. Here's hoping. I like that. We started out looking for the tutoring, but we are well and truly in this for Millie. We're kind of into it. We're kind of really into it. Oh. God, I need to call it for tonight, or else I'm going to keep going for another 2 hours, to be perfectly honest. This is I'm really enjoying this. In case you can't tell by I feel like I've kept up a good bit of energy throughout all of this. But I'm really enjoying this. It's a really clean and easy read. Do it. No, I'm not doing it. I have to go work. Got the olive energy. I got to go into work tomorrow. I'm just What is happening here? So, we are going to... Let's see. So glad you decided to play it. I am glad. I'm glad too, honestly. It's been a really charming, really wholesome, really easy read. And it's just aesthetics are so on point. The voice acting is really good. The music is really sweet. And just loving this. Twofold Tuesdays, we're in this till the end. This is officially a regular thing going forward. In all of this. Have I save in here? Yeah. Normalcy. So we'll be back next week. I want to... I click or escape to return to the game. Main menu.